I I couldn't just rip sprites for Bowser Jr.'s cart, obviously.
Right.
Obviously,
Uh,
obviously.
so I don't know. I found something that vaguely matched. It vaguely matches.
My God, it's so long. This description.
So good.
It does do some things. It does a few things.
Also, check out my bow if you haven't yet, Zeke.
I hope it explicitly does the things that Bowser Jr.'s thing does. I hope there's like a big tongue in there and a big fork.
Nah, I thought about it, but like I didn't want to drive home the Mario thing too hard because you've already kind of got that cornered.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll save that for myself. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is
this
done.
bow is fucking rad too.
The bow is done, and your charms are done. And as you pointed out, they are all actually finished because you had the +5 bonus from color for all of them. So let me go update that real quick.
Must be the fruit. While you're updating it, can you write a DC on there for me, please?
Yes.
And/or spell attack bonus. I know it's picky or tricky because there's 6 different items here, and they probably all have different DCs and stuff. But
I think all of them with the bonus beat the highest possible DC.
some of them were 34s, so if the cutoff is 35, then no.
Let me check. Thankfully, the DC doesn't go up from 30 to 35, so they're all
Okay,
DC
cool.
17
Excellent.
and +9 to attack. I'll
Terrific.
write that on there real quick. All right, the deed is done. And with that, let's get this shit started. When we left off, you guys were in Unmirage, kind of finalizing your preparations and plan for your approach to the Wandering Sun, which is currently stationed just a little bit southwest of Deltana, and that's about as close as you guys think it's going to get for the time being. And you figure it's now or never. And you're kind of just deciding how you want to approach this. If you want to be stealthy, if you want to try to do some sort of espionage, if you want to do some deception, if you want to approach sneakily, or just kind of go loud as soon as you get there. You're basically just finalizing your actual approach plan. So that's where we'll pick up. Hopefully this time we do actually get to sailing in today. I will nudge things along if we get stuck for too long. But you tell me, how are you guys doing this? How are you approaching? Or let's get hands done first real quick. Ace, sorry, what's up?
Now, hear me out, guys. All my other plans are trash. Let's just go in there and kill them. Look at all my cool stuff now. I just want to kill things. Let's go.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
I overheard everything you guys were talking about. I was in the bathroom for a long time there, but I did hear it all.
Espionage would be cool, but we can just do that later, I guess.
I'm a fan of the idea of what Moat was talking about, sort of calling out Anton and making this a matter of his honor, or getting back his property, as it were. I don't know how much we even really need to put lies into the matter. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm half inclined to just say, hey, Nordo wants to talk to you one man to man, and you ain't man enough.
Do we want to risk giving him the opportunity to plan?
While you're responding to that, are both of these hands for just discussing all of this, or do we want to, are they for specific things?
Oh, it's for discussing this.
Okay, cool.
I mean, I feel like if we go to the Wandering Sun, he's already going to have plans in place in case stuff happens. He'd be a bad leader and wouldn't be in his position if he didn't.
No, I know we probably ought to be a little bit more clever than just telling him I'd like to talk to him man to man, but it sure would be nice if it was that simple, wouldn't it?
It'd be nice if he saw you as a man and not an object, but
Well, still, I'll offer him the chance to meet with his property then, phrase it however we want. I don't care what he thinks me as long as I get in a room with him.
yeah, I mean, obviously I'm on board with that idea.
Alright.
I think it'll be more effective if we do like the cloud writing thing. That way everybody kind of knows of it, but maybe that's taking it a step too far.
Yeah, I don't think we want to give them too much time to, like, set up.
Yeah. Say, I think our first pickle here is if we're doing the cloud thing, presumably we gotta. I don't know that we're presumably. I reckon we gotta get on the damn thing first, don't we? You gotta be there to do that.
Nope. We just have to be able to see it, and I can cast it really far. Alternatively, we could just, if we want to, we can just whip up a storm and use it to get close.
The other thing to think about is half the reason we decided to do this now, even though we've got the key to get into Storm Cellar, is we wanted to figure out how this all is in cahoots with Ozymandiarith and the NSS and all that. So we're on a bit of a fact-finding mission here too. So I don't know if I'm super inclined to walk into this place and get right into a scuffle and scare off the NSS people before we can get any information from them. If they're even there.
A stealth party, you say?
I guess that's... So, Leah, you would know the answer to this, I think. Understand that if we just fly right up to this place on our ship, they're going to check us and tell us to get the fuck out. But if we can somehow secretly, sneakily get on to the thing without getting caught, once we're on, are we good? Are they going to be patrolling, or is it kind of once we're past security, we're in the clear?
They do have guards. They have people on patrol. It's not like a high security prison. It's a place of business. With that said, it's a place of business that they get thieves. There are people that want to steal merchandise or trade secrets, and they're set up to protect against that. But it is the size of a city. There are places to get lost. There are alleyways. There are abandoned buildings. They don't have eyes everywhere on the streets. It's getting onto it that's the hard part. Once we're there, we'll have to be careful to, blend in. But people didn't stop me regularly while I was on there. I could at least go from our buildings to the other building.
So you don't get like a stamp on your hand when you check in, and
Blue wristband or anything?
She kind of motions a little bit to a spot. I believe it's on. I believe it's on her shoulder where there is a brand. I mean, some of us had marking. I don't think that they brand everybody who boards the place. More just, like you said, the merchandise. Truthfully, that might be an angle that you could go off of if you took on the brand of the merchandise and some of these guys acted like they worked there, like they belonged there. They have papers, I'm sure, but it's not like everybody stops everybody they see and asks for paper every time they meet on the street.
Do you have a sample of these papers?
Not really. I could, I mean, I know they have them. I didn't have any because I was just...
I know Nordo had some. I was wondering if I got to glance at them beforehand.
All I've got are like the ownership paperworks of Zuzka Colt's boat. I don't think I have anything else.
Yeah, he's like
I guess
a deed, but it's not really the same as,
It's not the same as the paperwork.
Right.
I guess what I'm saying is I think that maybe our best bet is to find some way to sneak on this thing and then just act natural once we're in there. Maybe like Leah said, somebody pretend like there's some highfalutin somebody what's got some servants to sell or just carry their shit for them or whatever.
Would
As far as ways,
do you know if they would react well to like a new merchant trying to set up shop, or
That is what I was just about to go check. Let's see here.
Hey, I'm the new guy in town. Anybody know where I can buy some slaves?
well, I meant more like we've got I mean, maybe not world-renowned, but a pretty well-renowned blacksmith with us. I'm sure my dad would be willing to say that he's setting up a shop.
The slave business.
If you can sell yourself as somebody big enough and important enough, and if you can get down there and lie your way through it, that could. I guess what I'm getting at is I heard that people visited to make deals all the time. It's a place of business. People would come and arrange the transfer of merchandise. They would buy slaves. If you can somehow get past the docks, and if you can kind of explain why you showed up unannounced, That's a reasonable cover story, that you are with some business and you are trying to set up a big-scale business dealing with them.
I think it would be at least enough to get us time to walk around the place and see what we're dealing with, you know. As far as sneaking in, we've got a few options. We got that weird wind spell, what we used before. We got the little sphincter boat, what can turn the size of a chicken or whatever.
Fuck.
Victor vote.
Yeah, how big is the nautiloid when it's not shrunk?
About
I
the,
can think.
about the size of a chicken.
But when it's not-
shrunk.
Oh, it's not.
When it's not shrunk, it
We all fit in
is-
it. So.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. It had that room, which is about 20. It's probably, I think it's something in the ballpark of 65 or 70 feet long, and then like another 30 feet of tentacles.
Okay,
So
so
what's the
really big.
biggest? What's the biggest nautiloid I know about? Like, how big is the biggest nautiloid?
You would be aware, although a lot of your memories of the hive have been cut off, you would still be aware that there are some really big ones in the ballpark of like 200 feet long, on par with like, a big frigate or some
Yeah.
of the larger shipping vessels.
Based on how many like warehouses there are in the for slaves specifically, how big a ship you say we would need if we wanted to ferry like slaves off by smuggling them?
Boy, it really depends on how many are there.
Right? I know. Like, how many does she think are there?
Leah would guess, and this is just an estimate, just within their facilities, there were hundreds at any given time. And what concerns her is she knows that some of them are sold to other companies under the NSS umbrella, which means that, like, there are slaves all over the city. Not just the ones that are being trained by SSLC, but ones that have already been broken and have been sold to other companies in the same parent company. I don't know. She would guess 1,000, maybe 2,000.
That's a lot of people.
It-
How many
it is.
people can fit in the standard? What's the biggest airship available, and how much is renting it?
A very large top-of-the-line airship like the ones that the NSS uses, like the ones that bombed Finest several months ago. Those things are about 180 feet long. They can easily hold a crew of 40, and then like another cargo. If all of that cargo was human cargo, it'd probably be in the ballpark of another 140, 150. Easily. You could probably cram it even more, and they probably do, because it's slaves. So if you were cramming, you could probably fit 300 people on one of those ships.
I have a possible idea.
One.
Flick, your ship can turn invisible, right? I assume Flick is going to say yes to that because he's.
Yes, he.
Does it need to
How
become
many people
visible?
can fit in Flick
Does
ship?
it need to become visible before you put it back in the bottle?
What a great question. Let me go check.
Because otherwise, we could just fly up invisible. Everyone get off, and you can just put it back in the bottle. Probably turning himself invisible since he's a giant angel.
Become magically invisible, along with crew and cargo for up to 1 hour or until toggled off. No, you could go straight from invisibility to bottled.
Okay, so what we could do is we could fly up, find a place a little bit more isolated on there. Everyone can kind of get off. Flick should probably. I guess we can't cast a spell on it, can we? That might think it's difficult. Flick might need to be invisible before we turn invisible on the ship, so that he just isn't visible since he's a giant angel. And then we'll get off the ship. Flick will put it back in the bottle. We're on the Crescent King, or on the sun.
Wandering Sun. In his absence, I'll assume that he agrees to that.
I could see that. Seems like a reasonable plan.
Is there any part? I'm assuming that most of the parts are probably fairly watched, but I'm assuming there must be somewhere we can probably dock a little bit more secretly.
Yeah, absolutely.
There has to be smugglers even on this place, right?
Oh, absolutely. They have watch posts set up around the perimeter, especially near the docks, but also just at the outer rings where people would try to board. But even then, if we're coming in invisible, Let me check real quick.
And that brings me to another question. I'm not sure how much we've left with this ship. Is being on the ladder that is attached to the ship considered to be aboard the ship?
I'll say that
Or is it the moment that we're over the side of the ship, we are no longer aboard?
I'll say that as long as you're in physical contact with the ship, you're on the ship.
Okay, so we could lower the ladder, have it be right next to like behind some barrels, and we could just lower it down. Everyone can climb down and be there. We can suck it back in.
Yeah. She will say, I do know that some, like, they are a very wealthy company. They have a lot of good arcane protection. They probably have some people that can watch for invisible things. I don't know exactly how all of the magic works, but I know that if you avoid the watchtowers and you can sneak past them, there's lots of alleyways and places where you could potentially drift an invisible ship in and get off and just start skulking through the town.
All right. I suggest then that maybe that we do that, and we have Flick man the ship. Everyone gets off. Before we get close, before we cast the invisibility on the ship, Flick could cast invisibility on himself. Then we'll cast invisibility on the ship. That way it's not going to break the invisibility on the ship. And then he can bottle it while he's driving it so that it doesn't crash into the wandering sun as we're getting off.
I like it. Once we're in, I mean, even if we get caught, I presume the story's the same. Whoever we decide it is, whether it's Moat or Nomad or Gale, was here with their servants to try to set up shop or do some business, one or the other. I mean, if they catch us trying to come in, still probably try to sell that same story. A little tougher sell if they find us invisible, I guess, but
I think it would just be, I mean, if they find an invisible ship, it's going to be one thing. What do you think, Gale? Does that seem like a reasonable plan?
I know he's dead.
I think that we should do it and see how quickly it devolves into chaos and nonsense.
Do you want to have a backup plan then, just in case?
What are our current plans?
Well, I think that the condition for this going shitty is either we're spotted invisibly because of their magical protections, in which case we're just fucked, or we get on and then somebody catches us invisibly getting off of the ship, in which case I think our backup plan is kill them quickly.
Yeah, we can do that.
Like,
maybe just knock them
Sounds
out.
reasonable.
or that.
Wait,
just gotta quiet them down before they can announce our presence.
No, I'm
oh my god,
on
we're
board
doing
with that.
we're doing one of those what are those, like the encampment takedowns in video games?
The
Stealth mission, don't raise the alarm.
I don't mind the idea of us pretending to be prospective business owners. The issue with that is that they know who we all are.
I could
Yeah,
discuss.
that's true. They've been throwing around
If
flyers
they're-
about us for.
They're gonna be able to see through illusory disguises.
Can we just make
Yeah.
actual disguises?
We could.
Like, does anyone? I think Flick is Flick proficient in disguise kit? Did I make that up?
Norda looks at like his shell and it's like, that might be tough.
Yeah. There's a couple of us that could pass, but several of us will stand out no matter how good our disguises are. And I kind of just look at Nomad and Nordo, unless we want to mask
Nomad, who
everyone.
currently looks like Sauron.
Yes, I know Nomad's been getting by with his disguise so far, anyway.
Just looks like the Dark Lord of all evil. I have to stress, he does not look like a mind flayer. He looks like a giant armored bastard.
They're just gonna see like, this guy's evil. He belongs here.
Clearly evil.
Right, you look like a clearly evil dude who is very obvious and evil.
Yeah, just go in there and be like, I need slaves for an army. And man, this guy must have money.
They have seen Nomad dressed like that. Like, they know what to look for him.
Nomad snaps his fingers and he
Like-
looks like Owen Burnett now.
Is that
I
from the
thought you were on
gargoyles?
From
I thought you
Yeah.
were gonna say Owen Wilson.
I did too.
Wow.
It'd be a good disguise.
Wow.
again, that's illusory, right? Like
Yeah, what's wrong with illusory?
they're
I,
gonna.
I highly doubt every single person on that ship will
You're not
have the
wrong, but
capability of true sight.
I'm not saying that they have true sight. But if we run into anyone with detect magic or any sort of sight like that, which
Guess what
Well-
spells I have that prevents me from being caught as a mind flayer? All of them! Magic aura, non-detection, mage's private sanctum. Tell me what you need. I will shield us from their eyes.
yeah, and this is why you never have enough spells.
I have a question, Feck.
Yes.
Also,
If I were to cast this spell inside a bag of holding, and then we were to climb into that, could we be carried around? Like, would this be a space that could just be carried around, or would it actually cause it to just self-destruct? I don't know.
give me an Arcana check.
This seems a whole lot like putting an extra dimensional space inside of an extra dimensional space to me.
It really does, but
Um,
I need to read this forklift. Because there's a lot. I haven't read it yet.
you're not sure what would happen.
Would you like me to try?
yeah, I mean, I just say extra-dimensional space, so I wasn't sure, but...
What do I think would happen?
Wait, so that means does that mean that you cannot bring a bag of holding in too? Oh, wait, that's only the bag of holding.
Perfect. I don't think it's ever been tried before.
You know that typically doing an extra dimensional space inside of another one is unpredictable and usually pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
Is it specifically for bags of holding, or could you not bring a bag of holding inside a rope trick?
You would know that it is specifically in a bag of holding. In other words, you can take a bag of holding into a rope trick. People do that all the time. You're not so sure about doing it the other way around. You know that making an extra dimensional space inside of a bag of holding is likely to cause problems.
Okay, I was sorry, guys. I was trying to think of a really cool way to get us all undetected, but apparently God says that would kill us.
Mo, what's up?
at some point while all this is going on, I just chime in and say, if I do my ritual with that deed right there, detect magic, divination, anything like that, it's not going to be able to spot us anyway.
And
Even Nomad.
I believe you've already done.
Yeah, he's already
that.
done it.
I was gonna wait until we started traveling. Did I say I did it last time? I might have.
Yeah.
Okay, we can wait. I know
The
at
only
the
thing
very
is-
least you have the deed and are ready to do it whenever you want.
Yes, I know we got that far.
Yeah.
That is only for Anton and his people, though. And let's not forget this place is 9 out of 10 people here ain't got nothing to do with what we're going here for.
Means
Which I
9 out of
think
10
also-
people don't care that we're there.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I kind of
Yeah.
feel like we're overthinking
So-
this a little bit.
So, other than killing Anton, what is our other? Or do we have other goals while we're there?
Yeah, we need to go and talk to the food company, and by talk I mean Vasu talk with them about how about what they've been doing in Storm Cellar.
Yeah, the new society staples, the donut nut people, what make all that cursed food. That's really not good for your brain or heart, and you shouldn't eat any more of it. They are working with Azadir to make some sort of something that poisons the kobold mines there in Storm Cellar.
Gale starts Homer Simpsoning, just cursed food. Oh,
Does that deed have Anton's signature on it?
No. Wait, hang on. Shit. When I described it,
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm trying to.
We took it. You found it inside the desk of the brass magnate in Larvalfen after we took the ship from Zuzka Cult.
Right.
And it says brass magnate airship ownership paperwork, and then parentheses it says Captain Zuzka Cult, Admiral Anton Zufin. So his name is on it. I don't know if his signature is.
Yeah. No, if his name is on it, he would sign it.
Okay, cool. We now have his signature. I've memorized it. And
He just
formed
loves to give out his signature, doesn't he?
But to Mo's point, I mean, like I said, 9 people out of 10 here ain't got nothing to do with this. So I kind of feel like most people ain't gonna give a rat's ass about us. I mean, that said, everybody in this whole goddamn country has got flyers saying that we're the root of all evil, so there's that. But
That's why we have disguises.
The real question is, how am I supposed to bring my forklift along with us?
Do you need to get that barded?
Can I bard my forklift? Sure, you don't mean...
You get the sense that it already has... Boy, you don't... I don't know, what's its AC?
Its AC's 13?
Yeah, if you want to invest some more
Yeah,
money
I
into
have money with
additional
nothing else to do
protection,
for it.
Sure.
What do I need? Tell me.
I can take you.
Wait,
I'm getting barding
wait.
for my mount.
Yeah, it's the same rules as any other barding. It's
Oh
4
my
times
God,
the normal cost of whatever the armor costs.
Okay, well, I could... Well, now that... Oh, no. Oh, my money's gone.
I throw myself into the sea.
It's okay. I probably can't bring my forklift anyways. It's going to be distracting to everyone.
It's quite large, at the very least. And still pretty loud.
What is it? What is its size? Oh, so wait, all this work we didn't turn it down?
Putting 4 firestones in it doesn't make it any quieter.
Well, yeah, but the fire's not on.
If you want to make it quieter, you could potentially accomplish that with some black stones. Or some gray stones. But that said, it has a mechanical whir to it.
Nothing can else fit into it. It's fine.
It's at max 30. It's at full
Yeah, it's
capacity.
at its max. It's fine. Shh, it's okay.
Unless you want like a vehicle dampening device.
Yeah. Also, how much does this thing weigh? And second question. If something's technically like floating in a bag of holding, does its weight really matter?
It kind of does for the bag of holding because they have a limit.
It does. And you would also know, well, okay, you're saying that this thing floats, right. You would know that there's gravity inside of a bag of holding. But theoretically, you could just leave this thing running on float mode. This thing weighs 4,000 pounds.
No.
Yeah.
It's a big fucking metal machine.
Okay.
Should have made it out of mithril.
Well,
mithril forklift.
Well, we did find it made out of mithril.
Mithril
We didn't build
forklift
it,
is a
we just-
sweet band name.
It actually would be.
We just found it, right? And then we pimped it.
Yeah, this is the second forklift that God bestowed
Forklift
upon
too.
me.
Why do you go for forklift specifically? There's so many vehicles.
I don't know, because it just
It's
sounded
the
cool.
loudest of the vehicles.
I told him he could have my mount for whenever he wanted it, and he wanted the forklift. So
Do you want the forklift?
Well, that's because your mount could not see in my darkness and would just run into walls and die.
Whereas the forklift is perfect.
And I couldn't paint flames on your bird. I mean, it already kind of looks like flames, I guess. All right. Well, I guess I'll just leave the forklift for now.
Yeah, we'll save it for some other time.
If a giant beast comes by and we have to abandon this thing again, I'm going to be really upset.
Yeah, it would suck if we just made it. We just pimped it. Okay, so plan A. What is our?
It sounds like plan A is use the Crescent King to sneak onto the Wandering Sun all invisible. Like, once we're on, we pretend like a couple of yous that are good at talking are business people. The rest of us are just your servants or associates or guards or whatever. And you're just here looking into doing some business. People who are better liars than me could probably come up with better lies.
That would be
do some looking around for information about new side of Staples to start with before we start poking into the Anton's business.
Okay.
Seems like the plan. I like that plan.
It sounds simple enough. Do we have papers?
Like just paper.
I have documents, but they're like blank. In order for us to pass as merchants, I'll need to forge some documents, which should be simple enough.
Wait, I
Maybe
think
Moat would
okay.
be the best suited.
Would Joker know how to forge paperwork? He just seems like a type of guy who would definitely know how to forge paperwork.
Probably, but does he have a plus 18 to it?
Truth be told, I have been kicked out of city after city after city. I think one of the reasons that I stayed in Salt Bowl so long is because they
can't read.
outlawed paperwork, and I didn't have to try to fluster my way through it.
Actively bad at it. Got it.
Yeah, I wouldn't count on me for this one, but I'm sorry.
When you put it that way, it doesn't sound all that bad. Outlaw paperwork.
Yeah, right? That's what I'm saying. It's just
That one lady be so upset though.
We could reinstate it. I think we should reinstate it.
Please. But yeah, we just need to know how a writ looks like for a merchant.
I'm going
And
to
I
give this...
Just a moment. I think this is easily done by asking Moat's dad what one looks like. He's
Yep,
an
I was about
actual
to-
merchant and a blacksmith. Yeah.
Yep, literally about to suggest that. I was like,
Yep.
that's an actual business owner.
Yeah, he is. And also, Moat, with your mercenary background, you would also kind of just know this yourself. For specific kinds of business. You would at least know the papers that are necessary to fly an airship in and out of town. You would know what a deed to an airship looks like, and you have an example. You would know what a ledger looks like. The point I guess I'm getting at is you can contact your dad for additional details, especially if you want to make it look specifically like you're doing smithing work. But if you just want to be able to kind of forge it and make it look like you're running a mercenary company of some sort, you already know everything there is to know, and you can help Nomad with that.
Yeah, I'll help him out.
Cool.
Let's do it. Let me get
Yeah. So every third eye, you want to make sure you dot it with a heart.
a heart. Okay. Like,
The triple heart dotted I is the
Like
real
a-
staple of a genuine writ.
Like an anatomically correct heart.
Yeah, not one of those curly, like, pretty hearts, like an actual...
yeah, like,
An
veins and
anatomically
arteries.
Yeah.
correct heart.
Yeah.
it's a 35.
Working together, you guys are able to produce some extremely convincing papers that suggest you are all part of kind of a mercenary company. You tell me what it specializes in. Do you guys do slaves? Do you do
Well, Moat-
mining? What do you do?
It's up to you, Moat.
Oh god, that's so much pressure.
I mean, wouldn't it be best to just say
You helped me write it.
So this feels
Artifice-
like it should be like a Moat and Flick decision as the two good liars in the
Yeah.
book.
I think Flick is a much better liar than me, but he's not here.
could we not
now?
could we not say artificing? Then it's literally that's what we do.
You guys do have 3 artificers.
And then
Yeah.
that way we like, yeah, here's our products.
Three
Sure, we've
artificers
got
and
the-
a smith.
Oh, and I could
kids to prove
I
it.
could use it to bring my forklift. We can be like, look at this thing.
There's the motive hiding underneath the.
Yeah, we'll do artificing. That sounds reasonable.
He's right though. We've got like the goods to show. Like here's some of our wares.
All right, excellent. You guys have all of the documents that you need. They look very convincing. You guys could pass, probably because you really could be this if you wanted to be. A very talented and moderately successful artificing mercenary group.
But Ace, what are you going to do when somebody wants to buy the forklift?
It's a prototype,
Alright.
and I can't sell the floor
Oh,
model.
this model is just for show. Yeah, this model.
This is the floor model.
Yeah, you can't sell it.
Make
So-
a deception check.
When this goes tits up, I want it to be known that my plan would have worked.
What's your plan?
Let's hear your plan again.
We've already done this.
Plan,
We're doing
the plan
this.
was to
I
someone
can't
pretends
wait.
To be,
I can't wait for this to all go to shit. Let's
For
do
the
it.
record, any
What
plan
is
we
your
come up
plan?
with is going to go tits up immediately.
We've got
You're not wrong.
we've got like 2 days sailing to get there to talk about plans. We got plenty of time. We're already in the air sailing halfway through the day now. I assume.
yeah.
Okay, that's all I need.
I'd like.
Yeah, if you guys have committed, you've now sailed for 1 day and are halfway to Delta.
Oh shit, hold on, I needed stuff to do while we were flying over.
Okay, all right. Last call. What are you guys doing in Mirage before you sail over?
No, just while we're flying. If we've already been flying for a day, I would have started some stuff.
Sure, absolutely.
I bought all that stuff to make barding for my mount, so I will... We have the ship that has my dad in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask for his help just making barding for my mount. It's splint barding.
Absolutely. He is happy to help out with that. And thanks to the miraculous
quick
powers of
forge,
the
yeah.
mirror, and also the quick forge. You guys have a suitable work environment there. Yeah, go and give me a smithing check with advantage.
How much is plate
Is
armor?
he expertise in smithing tools? Do I
He-
know that?
He is. He would be. So he might, if you want to help him.
Can I give him the help action?
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
I'm only proficient.
It is worth mentioning your proficiency might be better. Well, I guess it would just be on par with his expertise either way. Here we go. Advantage. Cool.
It's really good.
Yeah. You guys do great work. What kind are you making?
It's just splint barding.
Okay, yeah, that is something realistically would probably take a couple days, but I'll say you could have done a day in on Mirage, another day on the sail over, and you'll have it done right before you show up to the Wandering Sun tomorrow.
Excellent. And then at some point, this doesn't really matter, but during our flight over, I will go ahead and do that ritual once we're done looking at this mana or document deed thing and get that going.
Excellent, and that is specifically targeting Anton Zufan.
Yes, I'm going to try and specifically target him.
Okay, excellent.
You said it's times 4 for barding,
Yeah, it's 4 times whatever the normal price is.
so I could buy some splint for it.
Yeah. I will say you're going to need to spend about 4 hours retrofitting it because it's not a horse.
We have like 2 days of travel.
But yeah, you guys have 2 days of travel, 3 artificers, and a blacksmith. You can make it work. This is by far the most crafting heavy party that I've ever seen in a D&D game.
You made.
Well, I mean, you made an
an
actual crafting system.
Yeah.
That's fair. All right. Anything else before I call the first day of travel done?
Norda will, because this is like very important to him, actually say to Gale, like, I do want to hear your plan, little dragon. You're the cleverest person I ever met. I want to hear every idea we got so we get the best one. Just while we're sailing, though, the day can keep going.
Okay. I'll explain my dragon plan again.
Oh yeah, we need the dragon for this plan.
Right. Because then when this plan inevitably goes tits up, like all of our plans inevitably will, at least we'll have a dragon.
There's that. So the dragon plan refreshed me. Nordo heard all this while he was on the toilet, and I watched it all like last week, but I don't remember. It's you become Mr. White, and Mr. White is the businessman who's here to do business?
No, it's probably Flick, because he's much better at lying than me, would become the dragon, and then he would go to Anton saying, "Hey, I caught these fuckers for you," as like a show of thanks. And then, well, he's giving us over, then we break out and just gank him because we have a dragon.
We could still do that. We tested that
No,
specifically.
We're already doing this now. We're committed.
I don't know. I'd kind of forgotten about the dragon plan, and I do kind of like it. At least we can. The thing is,
It's too late. We've been sailing for a day. We can't turn back now.
The thing is,
3 hours soul in my new man for no reason. Is that what you're saying?
The thing is that if these plans can kind of go hand in hand, if we just go ahead and just in case turn Flick into a dragon, just in case.
I mean, Flick could turn himself into a dragon at any time.
I think the thing is, if he puts his soul into Mr. White, he's going to be stronger than he turns into a dragon. Dragons have really shitty charisma for him. It's like way worse than Flick's original.
Yeah, but we established that they keep their.
They keep their charisma. They do, but if he polymorphs into it, or true polymorphs into it, he won't.
That's what I'm saying. That's why he literally takes Mr. White's person, his
that's what
body.
I'm saying. Is like, yeah, it would be better if he did that versus him just transforming.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. Flick takes Mr. White's body, and we just bring Mr. White's body along for this exact same plan, which is us sneaking onto the Wandering Sun and pretending to be legitimate business people with something to do. Except instead of being legitimate business people, we're Mr. White with a gift for Mr. Anton. If anyone catches us and says, like, what are you guys doing here? We say, oh, I'm Mr. White, and I'm here to see Anton. And then, things start moving very quickly at that point, but we have our out.
Flick will mention just real quick, because he's kind of familiar with both of these things and how they both work. He cannot... It's going to be much harder to hide his entire dragon self than it will be to hide himself on the Crescent King, because he is too big to be on the Crescent King as a dragon.
Yeah, but
and
can't
He
dragons
can
just-
turn into Mr.
he
White.
can.
so Mr. White can turn into a
Mr.
Shahwagan, though.
He will.
Yeah.
It's going to come down to whether that is an innate biological thing or a magical thing,
Or a Mr. White thing.
or a Mr. White
Gotcha.
thing, right? And anybody here can give me an Arcana or a History check on dragons.
Don't worry, guys, I got this.
I just
When you-
think
I'll do it.
before we load up the ship, maybe we should just try putting someone in Mr. White and see what happens. It's worth the experiment, if nothing else. We want to know how this is going to work.
Do you want the chicken plan still?
I still want the chicken plan, is what I'm saying.
It takes diamond to do-
500 gold chicken.
It does take like some diamonds to do it.
It's fine.
100, I think.
I'll pay
Was
for
it? Or was it 1,000 per?
I will happily. I can't pay for it. Sorry, I spent all my money last time.
Oh yeah, you made a lot.
Although I just put it all in party loot to pay for the stones I use, so it's all in party loot now. There's like 3,000 gold in there.
If we split it evenly, Nordo, you get some of that money back.
That's true. Sometimes things just work out.
Okay, I had to look this up because I actually didn't know for sure. Nomad would know this, and where's Gale? Gale would know this with the crit 27. The ability for dragons to change their shape is a learned magical ability. It is something that dragons tend to pick up as they grow into their ancient and adult stage. It is not an innate biological thing. It's just something that a lot of dragons learn along the way. Which is to say, Flick will probably still be able to cast the True Polymorph spell. He's not going to be able to use, like, the dragon transform to turn into the great Mr. White shark form or whatever. Unless he uses True Polymorph to do it.
Okay, so sounds like that would involve us riding up to the Wandering Sun with a big ass fucking dragon, which is maybe a little bit more attention than what we want.
What we can do is the
We
But
can
he
just
could-
turn the dragon invisible.
Well,
He could become
Tur-
Mr. White and then True
Triple
Polymorph
boils.
himself into, Mr. White.
Yeah, and then when they look at him with like true sight, they'll see he's actually a dragon.
Which is what we'd want them to see, assuming that they're
Exactly.
prying that deep into it. We're hoping they just never pry that deep into it to begin with, but if they do, then
I think. What's her face? The one who's inside Numad. Does she have any? Did she
Yeah.
have any abilities that she had before she went inside of him,
Oh,
like when she was
boy.
alive, that she can use, such as any spells or magic?
The,
Because if Flick goes into Mr. White's body and can't use his warlock spells, he can't true polymorph.
right. Like, presumably mana is tied to the body, not the soul.
it is a
But that's
little-
warlock though, so like, ooh.
so I would assume the opposite.
It's a little bit bizarre because since Numad has been taken over by Fiora, it's much more expressive than Numad or Nomad have ever been. It's weird seeing a Mind Flayer emote this much is what I'm getting at. And Numad, with Fiora inside, looks kind of visibly saddened and thoughtful for a moment, and she explained, she has to do it telepathically. I never had any sort of magic or powers. They were trying to pull them out of me, I guess, which is how I died a long, long time ago, is they were trying to develop these powers in me. I never got the hang of them now, so I couldn't tell you whether or not I could do them in this body, because I could never do them in my old body either. So I'm afraid I don't have an answer to that one. You guys could give me another Arcana check to take a guess.
I think maybe before we leave on Mirage, even if we don't go through with the dragon plan, it's worth experimenting with it real quick, see what it does.
No matter with a 20, you imagine it just depends on where the magic comes from in the first place. If it's like sorceress
So many
magic
kinds.
based on your bloodline, it's probably tied to your body. If it is divine magic that comes from a god, the god doesn't care what body you're in. It really just depends on where you're getting your magic to begin with.
And he's getting it from a deity, so
I also don't
it's just gifted.
meta
much do
love
we
the
know
idea
about-
of putting Flick into a dragon while he's not here in character, out of character, but we could say that if Flick agrees to this, we did it before
Sure.
we left.
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll throw a little parenthetical and we might jump back to it whenever Flick.
Yeah, I think last time we were talking about it, he seemed on
Schrodinger's
board.
White.
So
So we have
Yeah.
Schrodinger's cat. who may or may not be a
Schrodinger's
dragon.
Schrodinger's
Ha ha ha.
Schrodinger's dragon shark.
It's because he's a cat, you see.
Schrodinger's shark.
I mean, this is what happens when you don't show up for sessions, though. You get put into a dragon body, and you just roll with it.
Gail's,
But
what is Gail like thinking? I shouldn't have come to this session. I could be in a dragon body right now.
Right, like, I'm trying to set a precedent here so that I can just skip next week and really, like, escalate my...
Gail, when you were gone,
storyline.
we just stuck you into the biggest dragon we could find. Sorry.
you're Ozymandias now.
I mean, if Gale wants to go into that dragon, it's right there. You've got the machine. You know who to talk to.
Man,
Why don't we put Shu in the dragon?
you have no idea how much restraint it takes me to recommend Flick over myself for this.
Yup. You're
Real
good.
talk though, who has the best deception here? Is it
I'm
actually
pretty
Flick
sure it's
as is it him as a solar though, or whatever he is planetary?
No,
No, I
it's
think it's better
almost-
as when he's not.
Okay,
It's
so,
just
He's a 22 charisma.
so we'd have to dispel magic him. He becomes a
He just
dragon.
he can just you can just dismiss it.
True polymorph? No.
No.
I'm pretty
you
sure the
can't,
way
I
I'm
don't
pretty sure the way it's worded is that
No, you can't.
No, you can't.
In his current state, because he's left it running for the full duration, it is permanent until dispelled.
Yeah, so you
Yeah,
can.
someone has to dispel it on
Dispel
him.
it.
He can't just stop having it on. That's not an option. But anyway, someone dispels it on him, and then
He doesn't even have to dispel it because as we've established, his soul is still Flick, and he has his feet in
Yeah.
the soul.
and that would
So
well, yeah, but that's
but
not the
then
case with true polymorph.
but then we would be putting Mr. White into a plain tar.
Yeah, we don't really want that.
No, we're gonna
either.
put
No,
him in Shu.
There's still a chicken.
That's going
There's a
to
chicken
be-
still involved.
So
in
that's
this
going to be okay.
No, I thought
we-
we're putting Flick into a chicken, and then we're
Yeah.
putting White into that chicken and swapping
Right,
them that
right.
way.
The important thing is that we don't. There's never a
The
phase
chick-
where like a chicken is in Mr.
The
White.
chicken will be a planetar for a small moment.
We cannot put the chicken into Mr. White. That would be a disaster, even for a small moment.
Hold, wait.
You don't want a
the
chicken's
chicken will
mental
be the
capacity
Planetar.
into a dragon. I think.
I mean,
what
you
it
don't
is-
want a chicken's mental capacity in a planetar either.
Well, sure, but it's better than in a dragon. Well,
Is it?
maybe not. So I
This
think
angel
we.
can curse people's family lines. I don't know.
So I think Flick gets dispelled and turns back into Flick. I think this is an important first step here. We put Flick into a chicken, chicken into Flick. We put Flick into Mr. White. Or no, then we put Mr. White into.
So
No.
we swapped the chicken and Flick, and then we swapped the Flick chicken with Mr. White.
The flicking.
Do you
Right,
guys
right, right, right.
remember
So then-
when we were just killing slavers?
We're still doing that.
All right, we'll come back to how we get Flick into a dragon if he agrees to do with it when he gets here.
Yeah.
And until then, I think
We're
we proceed with
killing-
Plan A.
Slavers
So in
with more
theory,
steps.
before you guys
With
left this morning,
triangles.
there may have been a weird swap triangle, and we'll come back to that if he agrees to it, and you want to do it when he comes back.
Weird question: how much of diamonds is that gonna cost the kingdom?
It's 500 each, right? 500 gold each.
So yeah.
So that would be five.
Yes.
That would be 1,000 gold.
I think it was 100 each, and it's 1,000 for a golem body.
I believe that is correct. I think it's 100 to transfer, 1,000 to make a golem body, and that does mean that if you're doing a swap, it'll be 200 gold because you're doing
So-
two simultaneous transfers.
So
That's
important
not,
question.
that's not as bad.
Important question. Where does the soul sit? So if we pull Flick's soul out of his body, where does it wait while we're pulling the chicken's soul out to put into his?
We can do it simultaneously, Fac, right?
I would
Yeah.
say that because Gale rolled incredibly high to like learn how this
A
machine
jillion.
works and to
50.
manipulate.
Yeah, it's 50 something.
Yeah, like he literally rolled a 50 plus on it. Because of that, and only because of that, he believes that he can safely do a simultaneous swap without having to have a temporary third party involved.
Oh, I thought the whole thing just kind of worked like trading Pokemon.
It is very much the way that you found it. It was a unilateral, one-directional transfer. It's a soul into one other new thing. You've been able to manipulate it to work like a Pokemon trade. All right, you guys get a short rest. You're halfway there.
Oh, thank fuck.
Do you need mana?
Yeah, always, please.
You know, we could probably upgrade these bracelets so you can get more mana.
That would be delightful, but we don't really have so much time.
I know. I meant like in the future.
Yeah. Well, we do have like this interim.
Yeah.
We have spent.
Oh, well, can I? Just a quick roll. Can I just go ahead and roll to see if I can make that one other item, the one that's supposed to be like the anti-charm?
Oh yeah, yeah, go for it.
Okay. I broke the chat again, so. Do I have help?
Presumably, either of the other artificers want to help him with the project.
Oh, I have a dad.
Oh yeah, he'll help. Yeah, for sure.
Oh
Yeah,
no, roll
Lyle.
20s.
It's bonding.
That must be nice.
It's new.
I'm certain it's.
You guys remember? Never mind. I can't say anything. I'm the DM.
What do you mean? Remember?
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
'Cause we
30. And it's also this. It's also +5 because it's the they're all matching and they're the correct ones.
Yes, you are able to craft it. And it turns out immaculate. If you want to just like shoot me the stones that are in it and what you want to do, I'll get you a card written up.
It's okay.
Cool. Nice hit dice.
Yeah, it's cool, huh? I can't roll anything over a 1 on a d12 anytime I roll it. And there we go. Now I've overfilled.
The next day, after the first maybe 6 or so hours of, well, a little less than that. After about 5 hours of travel, there's kind of just gray skies all around you, even a light bit of drizzle. But then you sort of begin to kind of drift out of that and into the sunny, clear blue skies. And maybe 20 or 30 minutes after that, off on the horizon, gleaming golden under the just brilliant, unobstructed sun, you see in the distance a dot of yellow that at first appears very small until you realize how far away it truly is. And then you realize the immense scale of this thing. It is still several miles off, probably in the ballpark of 15 or 20 because of your altitude. You're able to see things from very far away. But you can see the wandering sun, an enormous yellow balloon that is surrounded by these rings, these wooden docks on which a city has been built. You can see even from this distance that there are tiny little specks of other airships that are drifting on and off of this. You can see distant landmasses of Deltana to your south. Valdalant's a little bit past. You can see just barely the shores and some of the towers of the Elven City. And to the north, you can see the little bit of the coast of Thorngrove. And you're sort of just suspended in the middle of all of it, right in the mix, the blend of these three continents, where this thing looms ready for business. I assume that you guys, for a short time, kind of pause the ship to go over any last-second plans. But what do you do from here? You imagine it's probably about maybe another hour or so to get there by ship.
All right. Maybe when we get like 30, I guess are we going to start being seen soon?
I prepare my new spells.
Somebody give me a perception check to be on lookout to see how far away you spot this, and
I got this.
whether they'd be able to spot you. Yeah, in the crow's nest, and partially kind of tipped off by the fact that the weather suddenly got better because you've already kind of reached that conclusion. As soon as the weather breaks and the sun begins to shine through, you head up to the crow's nest, you grab yourself a spyglass, and you're able to spot all of this from a tremendous distance.
Right.
You imagine that if somebody was specifically looking for you in your direction, they could spot you, but you're still so far away that like you're not going to show up to just a casual search.
All right. I suggest that we put up the barrier, dive underwater until we get closer. When we're about 30 minutes away, we cast invisibility on Flick, then on the ship, and then we can resurface and get closer.
Sure.
That'll give us an hour of invisibility time and 30 minutes extra, or we can even wait until we're closer. But they shouldn't be able to see us under the water.
Seems fair enough to me.
Norda, what's up?
Just kind of a minor thing, but in the morning, Norda will go find Gale, wherever he's at, probably that's just ungodly o'clock in the morning, like 6:20.
He's probably still up.
Perfect. He shows up at your workshop door with some coffee, thinking that you're getting up for the morning, not that
I'm
you're
like
still
just getting into bed.
up. Pushes the door open a little bit and just like knocks on the outside of it. Says, "Little dragon, you up yet?"
Sure. Let's call it that. What's up?
Wasn't so sure you'd be awake. I know sometimes you sleep in a little bit later. I sat in and come down and set like a cup of coffee down next to your bed table. Mind if I just ask you a quick question before we get into this shindig we're about to get ourselves into?
Sure.
Kind of sits down on the edge of your bed. When you go back to Storm Cellar, back to your people and all that, is it more important to you to kill Azadirith, get your revenge? Or is it more important to you to help your people and make sure that they're all okay?
He just stays quiet.
If it came down to it, if you had Azadirith in front of you and you could just let loose all the anger and hate and revenge and everything you've had on your heart all these years, but if you did it, maybe a couple dozen, couple hundred, couple thousand more of your people would die. Or say you had to, I don't even know, if you had to let him go, but it meant all your people got to live or something.
I would let him go. It would be very hard. But knowing that he can't, knowing that all of my friends and family and everyone in Storm Cellar was safe and free would be more important.
That makes sense. It's just, it's all I want in the whole world, at least I thought it was, to split Anton's skull open and watch him die, but after everything what happened in Larwolfen and all them people what got killed, now I'm worried that going in here and doing this is gonna... I just want to be careful. I don't want to get more people hurt at all. But I don't see as there's a way to do it without him being out of the picture. And I think that's true of Azadirith too, for whatever that's worth. I don't think there is a way to save your people without cutting his head off.
Yeah, I hope there isn't.
Me too. Here's hoping for me and you both we just don't ever have to choose, and we can just get the best of both worlds.
We'll make sure to get him.
Just sort of pat your shoulder. Say, alright, I'll have breakfast ready in about 10 minutes. Get yourself dressed.
Okay.
What a nightmare.
Get up and walk out. Leave a coffee on your nightstand.
He's like about to go to sleep and wasn't. He and I were not prepared for something that heavy, and so he just like takes the coffee, drinks the whole thing, and then he gets dressed and goes up and has breakfast. Probably like falls asleep at the breakfast table for like an hour and then wakes up because the caffeine finally kicks in.
Dude, those
Right.
are the best though. Caffeine naps. Just
Dude,
like
yeah.
slip in 40 minutes while you're waiting for the caffeine to kick in. You wake up feeling
Real
like
talk,
$1 million
though.
dollars.
God, it's so weird waking up after a caffeine nap.
Those are the best naps, man. About 9 a.m., drink a cup of coffee and go straight to bed. You wake up feeling like $1 million at like 10.
Yep. All right, excellent. After dinner, Ace has spotted the wandering sun off in the distance. Figures it's probably about an hour by ship, whether you take this one or the Crescent King.
Crescent King, for sure.
Excellent.
'Cause I don't think this one can turn invisible, can it?
No, I
So
load the
what would-
main cannon.
We'll probably have this. Do we want this one to like go off somewhere else then?
Uh,
Because obviously we shouldn't just send all of our hostages.
all of our hostages, yeah. We want to really give them as much ammunition as possible. Yeah, we should let them kind of take off, leave. I don't want to presume, but to assume leave Leah captaining the tornado, unless she's coming with.
Leah's
I think she's coming with.
I was
Yeah.
going to say she'll give a look to Nordo like if you need me to do this, I will do this, but she doesn't look happy about it.
Okay.
No,
In that case, I'll
Can
leave Leo in charge.
who? Oh, is she staying or is she coming with us?
He's coming with
Okay, so then who on the ship can fly?
Leo, sort of.
Sort of.
Joker,
Can,
presumably.
I have I'm half tempted to say
Fly?
Joker, but at the same time, like,
No, maybe not.
Marvel.
Right.
Marvel. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Leo's like, oh yeah, absolutely. You just turn the wheel and it goes, right? Like, like
Pretty much. I did design it to be as simple as possible.
Yeah. You know what? I'll give it a spin. What's if we hit the water, it floats, right? It's a boat, right?
just if you get the water,
Yeah.
Ew, river, and then
Wow.
someone will come get you.
Marvel kind of like looks over his shoulder and he gives this like wizened like, I'll watch the boy. Don't worry. Look.
Wait, is Cass on the ship?
Cass is here.
Can't
Cass is here.
Can't Cass drive?
Yeah. Cass is a very good sailor. He is very willing to do this.
As Leo says, it floats, right? I just look over and look at the hordes of aberrations in the ocean. I'm just like, yeah, sure.
Got those, don't we? When we're in there.
Between Marvel and Cass, they promise to babysit Leo and make sure that the ship is okay to the best of their ability. Yes, Norda, before I go on.
You go ahead. You're good.
I was okay. So I'm basically, I don't. It could be a point of order. Let's go ahead and ask. Is there anybody else that you're bringing with you besides Leah?
I don't think so. I guess I don't think so. But Nordo, before departing, goes to find Cal.
Okay, yeah. You can tell he's definitely kind of anxious. He's like, when you walk into his room within the mirror, you find that he is armored up. He has his weapon ready to go, and he turns his listen. I don't know if you need my help, but if you do, and he kind of stamps it down. I am ready to go. You say the word.
It's too fucking sweet. Hold on.
It's too fucking sweet.
Second, trying to roll dice here, and it's taking forever.
You do see that he is with Kelsey, who appears to be kind of taking a whetstone to his axe. To little avail, really. This axe is so beat up that a whetstone barely does anything for it.
Okay.
But more of just a symbolic, like, we got your back if you want us, sort of thing.
And the little bit of like sparring and stuff I've done with Cal since we've gotten back together.
Sure.
Do I get the sense that he is like going to be in over his head if he tries to fight at our tier? You know.
Give me
Schrodinger's flick.
give me investigation or insight, either one.
Yeah, Flick, do you want to be inside of a dragon? Your soul, that is.
We'll come back to that in just a second.
It's trying its best.
I believe in it.
There we go.
That's very You know for sure that he would dive in head first. He would absolutely be willing to do this. He would be happy to die on this mission. He believes it is a noble cause. In the sparring that you've done with him, you imagine he could take a hit or two. 22 is very good. He's probably got like somewhere in the ballpark of 30 to 50 hit points. You do with that whatever you want.
Okay. Cal, look, the truth is we're fixing to do something really fucking stupid right now, and God only knows if we're even going to survive it. I can't make this decision for you. Everything in me is telling me to tell you to stay here, stay safe. I've almost lost you enough times. I can't lose you again, but I want you to do what you think is right, and I'll be with you either way. I support if you want to come. I support if you want to stay safe. This is a nice setup you got here, but I completely get it if you are itching for this fight as much as I am. So you decide, and I'll support either way.
Okay, hang on. Fuck.
Yeah, I rolled 2 exactly middle of the road to make that choice.
When you sprung me out of that tower with all of those gnolls, and the tower came down because of these bastards, that man on his ship shot light from the sky and sent us plummeting to our death. There was a moment where I thought for sure that every single one of us was going to die, and at least we went down valiantly. But at the last second, this goddamn ship came flying up from out of nowhere because you left a friend behind to have your back just in case shit hit the fan. I am happy to be here to do that again, if need be. I understand you were all talking about stealth and lying about being in a business, and I don't know jack shit about running a business or talking to suits about negotiating for people like their merchandise. I get it. If you want to have as few weak links in that field, I understand. I can stay behind. But if you got some sort of magic toy or trinket so that when shit hits the fan, we can come sailing into your rescue, you leave that with me and I will be there as soon as the wind can carry me there.
Yeah, I think that's a great plan. I'll see what Little Dragon's got on hand as sort of a beacon or whatever for you else to come to our rescue.
Besides, I saw who you're leaving at the helm, and the big one, Cass, I think his name is. He looks like he can handle things, but if we hit more of those flying sharks, I don't know about the little ones. They're little guppy snacks for those flying sharks. Somebody's got to stay here with an axe.
Nordo chuckles at that and kind of points over at Moat's like family too, his little sisters and stuff, and says, "Yeah, I'm counting on you. Keep this place in order."
All right. Well, we'll stay on guard here. Make sure the ship doesn't go down in your absence. But, leave something behind, a signal, and if you need us, we'll be there.
Easy enough. I can always contact Joker with my card.
That'll do it. All right. Gale, what's up?
Sorry, I just need to call out Nordo. You turned Cal back? Well, we fought demons with 3 1-hit point grabs. Dude has 30 times as many hit points, and you're like, I don't know about this.
Nordo is very, very protective of Cal.
It's because he gives a shit about Cal.
No, it's the right choice. It's just,
Rando crabs.
I find it very ironic that we were like, 3 1-hit point crabs, cool, let's go fight some demons. This actual, semi-competent fighter, I don't know about this.
Yeah, it's all true.
In
I can't deny it.
He is still in
universe. Cal is an angel.
in an alternate universe, Cal is going to get hit by a fireball and die immediately on this mission, so it's probably safe.
It's a fucking miracle the crabs didn't, to be fair.
they became angels. It was glory, you know?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Now we have a flick. Let's handle this, hopefully for the last time.
yeah, so the plan is to put your soul into Mr. White so that you can pretend to be Mr. White
Okay.
while we're aboard while we are on the Wandering Sun in case we get caught. But what we're going to do is we're going to fly in with your invisible ship and sneak aboard.
Okay.
But you're not going to turn into Mr. White. You're going to turn into a dragon when you're inside of him. So you're going to have to use a true polymorph to turn into Mr. White's
Sahuagin form.
humanoid form or whatever form it is.
So from the broad plan is we sneak onto the Wandering Sun. Hopefully no one sees us. We can just do some fact finding once we get there. If we get caught, you're Mr. White and you have these things to give to Anton, and then shit hits the fan real fast. But also, if that
Okay.
doesn't happen, then we have Mr. White with us. But that's all contingent on you being cool with stuffing your soul in a dragon.
Yeah.
So
Importantly, he doesn't. Mr. White doesn't have like a innate body ability to switch back and forth. So you'd have to use a spell, and we'd have to have someone dismiss your true polymorph
Right.
this time, and then again. I don't even. Can you cast true polymorph again?
yes, we have
It's
to
ready to cast again right now.
Okay.
say we have to dispel it, put you in a dragon, then you have to cast it to turn yourself from dragon into presumably Sahuagin form of Mr. White.
Okay.
Or
But you
whatever other inconspicuous humanoid you want to look like.
I think it is reasonable for Leah at this point to ask if he's going to use magic to look like the shark anyway. Why doesn't he just use magic to look like the shark? Why does he got to turn into the dragon soul first?
Because then we get a fucking dragon with us.
Because
How is
if
that
some,
not obvious?
because as Gail pointed out, if someone sees through with a true sight, they would just see that it's an actual dragon.
That is true.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also we would have an actual dragon.
Well, we'd actually have
Also-
a dragon. We'd have a dragon that's true polymorph. We wouldn't actually have a dragon
So
until
it's-
someone
Doesn't
dismissed it.
matter. We'd be one dispel away from a dragon.
It does kind of come down.
Can he
Flick, and this
choose
is a
to
very,
fail a dispel?
Yeah, you can choose to just have this dispelled. You're basically choosing if you want to be a dragon or be Flick when things go tits up. It's kind of up to you.
I mean, how often do you get to be a fucking dragon?
Right.
What the fuck I'm talking about.
Anytime you want with true polymorph.
It's not
we
the
are
same,
Not
you know,
powerful
this is an
Not this
ancient.
Also, he
incredible-
gets to keep all of his like internal stats, and I'm sure he's gonna be more powerful.
Mr. White, but as
Definitely
a genius.
more powerful than regular.
Mr. White with
I guess
some
Flick's not a
charisma.
genius, but
He's
Oh,
Oh no,
charismatic.
I'm charismatic, and that is it. My other
And then,
mental
can
stats
your-
are not great.
Can the Crescent King, can it just infinitely toggle invisibility on and off, or is it it's a set amount of times you can do
I
it?
think it's a once per short. Let me check.
It's 1 hour per long, I think.
Okay. So then what we should do is put the bubble up, go underwater, get closer to there. I'll cast invisibility on. Wait. I guess we don't need.
It can
Yeah.
teleport once per long. It can turn invisible for an hour once per short.
Yep.
we do actually have to figure out what we're doing with Mr. White's soul, though. We can't
And
just...
what are we gonna do with Flick's body?
Right, we need to bring Flick's body with us, obviously. We can't leave it behind. So there
Does it have a
really
chicken
does
in it?
have to be a chicken involved in this plan.
Yeah. If
This
it
is
has
not a
no
joke.
soul
Well, actually, can't we leave his
inside,
body?
it will die. That's why it needs to have a chicken in it.
Does it? Can
No,
it be empty?
Yeah, can't it just be empty?
If it's
Do we
empty,
need?
that's a
Do we
dead
need?
body.
Do we need feign death on it or something, or would that even matter?
Gentle repose against sweet faint death.
That's what I meant.
Gale rolled a 50 on understanding how this machine works.
This is not the
You-
same as understanding how souls work.
Not really, but it's at least enough to understand the ways that this machine was built, and you can kind of glean some things from it. Some of the things that you're able to glean are this has to put a soul into something, and it has to come out of something. You're not entirely sure what would happen if you shunted two souls into the same body. You're
Okay.
also not entirely sure what would happen if you pulled the soul out of a body and didn't put something else in. Actually, you would, because you saw it. You did that.
Yeah.
You literally did this in Pleiades. You would know that when you pull the soul out of a body and you stuff it into another body, the old body is just matter. It's just a corpse. Theoretically, though, you could put the soul back into that corpse and it would come back to life again.
What
Okay.
about the souls that came into our bodies from the Elbrot mine? What about those souls that are already in Flick, like his little...
You would be aware, I think Nomad is the one who did a really good check on this. You are connected, they are not inside of you. You are tethered to them as part of the global network of Elbrot mines throughout this planet.
So where are they then?
In the Elbrot mines.
Okay, so they didn't actually leave the Elbrot mine.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Yeah.
just connected to them. You're basically part of the
okay.
network now.
It's the Misaka network.
Ooh, I don't know what that is, but it sounds right.
Yeah. Just, I'm the only person that knows what this is.
I know what
This-
it is.
This is a reference just for me and Frisk.
Perfect.
Yeah. And that makes sense. We got railgun this
So,
shit.
when we put souls into things, could I, like, magic jar this, essentially, and put it into an object?
You would know that
Kind of like with, Freya?
you would know that
Fire?
the machine is not designed to do that unless the machine is significantly or sufficiently advanced.
Yeah, didn't Joker
Toto?
didn't Joker develop a
Toto?
machine that could hold these souls?
He did. It was incredibly cursed. It was cursed to the point that it was like a soul
Yeah.
trap, and it attacked everything on sight. And that's what
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
initially trapped in.
Yeah, but like, don't we
Oh.
kind of... We could do that to Ozzy, Daddy.
Theoretically, that's what he did to a bunch of people.
Yeah. Can I put him in Toto?
Will Toto be loyal to you if you put him in Toto?
I think he might be. And if he's not, well,
God. Okay, I need you to... Oh my god, I have to be so careful. I have to be very careful. I'm going to ask you two questions. I'm going to ask you two very important questions.
okay.
One, how long have you had Toto? When did you make Toto?
Level 3.
Okay, so it was like on this adventure?
So I think that
Started at level 3.
I think the way that we had originally plotted it out was that I already had Toto, but when we got kidnapped, he had gotten scrapped, and we hit level 3 when we got our stuff back, and
That
then I
sounds right.
rebuilt Toto out of that stuff.
Sure.
So I think but I wouldn't have built him like too long before that. It probably would have been like in the sub, maybe, or shortly after that.
So a matter of maybe a year, maybe 2 years, not on the order of decades or anything like that.
Yeah, like long enough for him to definitely have his own soul and be a person.
That's where this is going. The second question is very important. How much do you love Toto?
Gail loves Toto so much.
Okay.
Toto is like a deep representation of like loyalty and companionship when he was kind of alone. Toto lets him kind of like walk and move around a lot easier, and is just like, yeah, he's his buddy.
Emotional
Well, he
support
loves-
dog.
Yeah, he loves Toto.
Okay. You have no idea what would happen if you stuff a soul into a body that already has another soul. Fuck, man. Give me a religion check or an arcana check. It'll be harder.
Would you like me to take second? I'm very interested in souls. For reasons. Oh,
Hello? I think he's rolling.
can I take second in religion?
Sure.
To know how if items can get souls or constructs.
Nomad. The only pertinent experience that you have with this are a couple of religious stories from a handful of different divine documents, which is a funny way of saying holy book. Divine documents. And also the first-hand experience that you
Several
saw
Bibles.
in Arcturus, which is where a bunch of souls got sucked into other Mind Flayer bodies. They didn't like that body, and they overpowered it. Which is to say that if you put a powerful soul into the body of something containing a less powerful soul, the more powerful soul can, like, directly attack and kill the owner of the original body from within. driving them crazy, dealing psychic damage, and eventually kicking them out of their own body, and presumably killing them and sending them to the afterlife.
Oh, that's fine. Toto is immune to psychic damage.
It's true.
Yeah. Fuck me.
Got you there.
I tell Gale it's fine.
Suck it, God. I want to rethink what you just said.
I don't. You should maybe reword it.
Fuck. No, I can't reword it. That's how it works.
I'm gonna trap dragon souls in my dog.
This is like the third time this campaign that I've set up something that's like this big, serious existential threat, and you guys just slap it in Toto, which like circumvents it entirely because he's not a real
Toto
boy.
is like
He
the
is
black
the
horse.
realist boy.
He's like the ghost catcher, the fucking, what do you call those? The Fenton Thermos in Danny Phantom.
God,
Oh,
Fenton
jeez.
Thermos. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah,
me.
or like the Ghostbusters fucking
Yeah.
ghost traps.
Alright. But we got a plan.
Yeah, 37, you probably think that Toto, being mechanical, even if he has developed a tiny sliver of a soul in there, is probably a little resilient to it because he's a construct and he has...
Whatever soul he has developed is fucking invulnerable.
Yeah, and actually, fuck, man, 37.
You
you just came from Mechanus. You know that like Modrons cannot be compelled to act against their wishes because they are programmatically designed with an axiomatic mind. Yeah,
There you go,
probably
Gale.
think that he's fine.
So there's going to be a
God.
phase here where Flick's soul is in Toto, but then Toto doesn't.
No, we don't even have to do that. We just put white into Toto and then Flick into white.
But what's
so,
gonna
but
be
then
in
Flick's
Flick's
body is
Yeah.
empty, though. Isn't that a problem?
Flick needs.
He will
and
die.
No,
Can we?
no, he won't. We just gentle repose him. He's a corpse currently, and then as long as he's not,
Yeah.
as long as it's not rotting, like
That's literally
It's
what
true.
they did in Pleiades. Yeah, that's what they
Yeah.
were
It's
doing.
true.
All right,
The
all
only
right.
yeah,
does anyone have gentle repose?
he
You
only
what?
gets soul damage if he's like if his soul goes to the Crosswinds, which it's not gonna do. It's
Does
gonna be
anyone in the
straight to another
party?
button.
Does anyone in the party have gentle repose?
Surely someone in Unreal
If
does.
not, does Uno?
We could also
No.
just probably buy Gentle Repose scrolls at this point. Where
Moat should be able to prepare it.
Yeah, I can prep it. Oh, I've already got it prepped.
Oh, is
Oh,
it
excellent.
a cleric spell?
convenient.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
What level of spell is it?
I forgot that I've kept that,
Second,
Revivify, and a bunch of diamonds on me ever since Ace died.
No, I've only got first level cleric spells.
And now I'm prepped to keep people alive.
Is it first or second? A gentle repose.
It's
I
second.
think it's second. Yeah, I've only got first level cleric, so I cannot prep it. I'm not a real cleric. I'm cleric 1. I don't see how there could ever be any downside to putting Mr. White's soul into Toto. Let's do it.
We would have.
All right, we
It's
do
so
it.
strange.
I still want the record to
God.
show that I think the chicken plan was safer. But I like this plan better.
You
I
guys,
didn't want a chicken in my body, so
I think that this is safer, but I think the chicken plan is funnier.
For sure.
Could you
think
imagine
the
what?
chicken
Because
plan-
then we could. Because then at one point we could
What's
just
chicken?
eat Mr. White the chicken.
That's true. We could eat Mr. White as a chicken.
We could make chicken rings out of it,
pretty fucking
just like
smart.
White Castle.
yeah.
Chicken rings.
Before I continue, Moat, what's up?
It's all so irrelevant at this point. Do I know that True Seeing is a divination spell and they wouldn't be able to see through an illusion?
Yep, correct.
Okay, cool.
Alright, awesome. You guys get permission from Elise to go down into the oubliette. Actually, it wouldn't be an oubliette, it would just be a regular dungeon, because they still need access. To go into the dungeon, where you can see that there is Mr. White, in his shark form, in these heavy chains. He is surrounded by a handful of these stoic, kind of stone-faced Kenra court mages. You can see at the back of the room there is a priest who's kind of watching over silently. The queen is told to kind of wait outside. It's too dangerous for her to go in herself, but she gives a nod and allows all of you to go in. You wheel in this big machine that Gale has been working on, and you begin. What's the first transfer?
We have to get this right the first time.
Just first white into Toto.
All right. Mr. White kind of looks up and says, "Come to finish the job, huh?"
Not exactly
So
I
you're
still
taking
kind of
road trip.
yeah. We're going to give you a little bit of a road trip. Look, the reality is that you're a shitty person, but you also have kids, and that made me feel like really guilty about just like killing you. Um, so instead, I'm going to trap you and my dog for a little bit until I deal with the emotional turmoil of that. So yeah, here we go. I flip the switch.
He's like about to come up with some witty, snarky retort. And you flip the switch, and there's a arcs of lightning flash between Toto and Mr. White. And after about 10 or 15 seconds, there's a flash and a pop. The heavy chains kind of jingle as Mr. White's body goes limp. And you look to Toto. Fuck.
How you feeling, buddy?
Fuck me. How's he feeling? Hang on. There, boy. Oh my god.
Does he occasionally spark?
Give me.
You know, the little.
Okay, taking into account all of the things that he's just hardline invulnerable. Give me a charisma saving throw real quick. From Toto. Cool. Toto stands there motionlessly for a short time. And he kind of cocks his head over to you with a look of recognition. And there's a little bit of a blank silence, and then a dinging noise. And a danger. Wait. And his head kind of snaps back down into a neutral position. And you watch as he kind of just like the Boston Dynamics dog, just like lowers himself down onto his belly. And just kind of sits there, motionlessly for a little while. And every now and then there's a ringing of a bell, and he says, wait. This goes on for a couple minutes, and then 10 or 15 minutes. And then, eventually, he kind of stands up.
Soft reboot.
He looks to you, and he starts moving, but with kind of like this belabored, very methodical, very like he's kind of forcing himself through some sort of attention. But he turns and he looks at you, and there's a ding, and he says, "Danger, okay. Danger, okay." And he kind of just like trods along up to your side. You can tell that he's in a mood, he's in a weird spot. But at the very least, he's moving around and addressing you.
See,
And
alright.
okay.
Good boy, Toto. Toto's a cool puppy.
Ace, what's up?
I'm just gonna go over to Mr. White's corpse and grab his mouth, and then in his voice, but like, "Feed me, Flexol."
Can you even lift up his mouth?
I was going to say, this big, solid, great white shark, you probably
Size
can't
of
even
a
reach it.
van.
I can move his lips at the very least. I can move a jaw of a corpse that's fresh. There's
That's true.
there's no resistance. It's not rigor mortis yet.
Most
It's
of it's
heavy,
just that great
though.
white sharks don't have lips.
Well,
Is he a
it's,
corpse or
Isn't it
is he
great
just
fish
kind of
man?
like limp?
That was a dragon.
isn't he in dragon form now that he's a corpse?
Oh shit!
Oh, shit. Hang
thought
on.
he
That's
was-
a good
I thought he was-
question.
I thought he was always in dragon form.
No, he was in shark form down here in the prison.
Oh.
Let me check. He might revert when he dies, which would
He
be...
Does-
has to, right? If it's a magical
Does he
ability.
fit down here?
One should transform him immediately. Quick soul, switch it now.
Are we all crushed to death by this dragon's body as it expands in this room?
Wouldn't it be great if I had rules for crushing damage from size transformations? We might be about to find out.
Quick, someone cast reduce.
I feel like it's like the dragon step block, if this is pure meta knowledge, but I feel like it says like they can use an action to turn or revert. I don't know. It's not like a concentration thing. I feel like the trouble is now that it can't turn
Yeah, when it
back
dies,
into a
it comes
dragon.
back.
Yeah, as soon as the sparking flash happened, Hey, somebody give me a luck check to find out how big this dungeon cell is.
Gale should do it since he has good
yeah.
luck.
Seems reasonable.
Hey.
Plenty big enough.
It's huge.
You
They
are-
were ready for this.
You are relieved. It seems that they were.
It was actually an oubliette.
Yeah. You get the impression that they like kind of had the sneaking suspicion that he might do some shenanigans and try to change into his dragon form. So the entire cell is like the size of that big, in Skyrim, the big hall that they built to be the dragon prison.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
courtyard thing.
And sure enough, as soon as that flash hits and the soul leaves Mr. White, you do watch as rapidly his unconscious body first slumps down in the change, and then you hear this creaking, snapping sound as the metal groans and eventually bursts, and with a thud, a very large white dragon lies unconscious in the middle of the cell. All of the guards have to kind of stand back suddenly. But thankfully, it is plenty big enough to accommodate it without any sort of like structural damage or danger to you guys.
All right, let me re-say what I did then. I
Sure.
take my forklift and I use it to grab his mouth, and then I move his mouth with my forklift as I say this.
The
Perfect.
forklift. Because
I finally got to use it.
You did it. I'm so proud of you.
No, hold up. Before we start feeding Flick soul to this here dragon, we gotta turn him back into Flick, right?
we don't have to.
Yeah, it'll be fine. We're not putting anyone back into Flick, and I'm sure that Flick should revert whenever he.
Aren't we
Flick-
putting a
Don't we
chicken into
want-
Flick?
Not anymore.
No, there's not gonna be any chicken anymore.
Also,
'cause-
when Flick's soul leaves, he will revert back into himself, just like this
Right.
dragon did.
but don't.
So-
So
if you
this is
die in
just
true
kind of-
if you die in true polymorph, you turn back to yourself.
So what do I do with this chicken?
We're gonna eat it later.
No,
We're gonna turn her into a god,
maybe. No,
This is just
and then eat her.
I've grown attached.
And then you
Offer
can.
her the shoe.
Her name is Peppa.
just to
Well,
clarify. Just to
Pepper
clarify
might
here,
need a. Pepper might need another soul company because I think Toto's got an upset tummy, and I just kind of rub his side.
Do you think
bad.
that a chicken soul would be easier on his tummy? Anyways, what is it, Nordo?
They say chicken soup is good for the soul.
They do say that. Listen, so don't Flick.
I hate all of you so much.
You gave us this. This is your fault.
So I guess we
don't,
could just
don't
like,
Flick's mental stats carry over to this dragon. So if he is a
Yes.
planetar, his lower charisma and worse deception will
No,
carry over to
it'll-
this dragon.
Nope.
it's his soul is not a playing tar.
Is that true?
Yeah.
You
I mean,
guys
he-
did a couple checks for this last session, and we're pretty sure. You're sure that
Okay.
it's true, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we are left with is unconscious Flick body that will no longer be a true polymorph because he will have died.
Yes,
Correct.
Flick soul on a dragon. Okay, and then we'll use true polymorph on the dragon to turn it
Yeah,
into something.
and then-
okay, got it.
then we
I'm
can just-
catching up.
And then we can just shove Flick's body into his bag of holding. Easy peasy.
Well,
Take
no,
him
it's
with
dead.
us.
I was gonna say it's gonna suffocate, but it's dead. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Also, we could put Mr. White's soul into the chicken and just let the chicken's soul be free.
Well, it can also just kill the chicken soul. I don't really.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
we can just take the soul out and just let it go
Well-
away, and then put Mr.
Well, we don't even have to take it out. We can just.
Let it go away to where? To be stuck in the crosswinds?
Well, yeah, that's where all the chickens are going anyway. Actually, is that what happened? Do chickens have?
Well-
It's. I'm not getting into this.
Well, here's the thing: if we put Mr. White into the chicken, then he can't kill the chicken because then he just dies. So he kind of has to behave like a good boy, whether he wants to or not, because we're his only way to get back into his body. So
Why don't we just put him in
Telling you,
Nibbler?
the chicken
Nibbler's
plan
like
is safest.
unable to move.
Nibbler's dead. I killed him.
Nibbler is is paralyzed for life.
I'm working on a thing for that, but it's taking some time.
Nomad saved
Actually,
my life.
could we not just put him in Shu and then just dismiss Shu to another plane and just have chill somewhere else?
Do we want Mr. White free in another
No.
plane?
No. Don't familiars go to a pocket dimension?
I don't
I
know if you want
think we
Mr. White
have
free in
our
a pocket
solution.
dimension.
Yeah, I
think
think our
it's fine, it's fine.
solutions are already fine. We have
Yeah.
everything we need.
Okay,
I'm
let's-
bringing a chicken
I
just in
feel
case.
obligated also to just real quick as a reminder, make sure to mark off 100 gold for this one transfer that you've done.
Yeah. Whoever's got
We'll take
that.
it out of party loot. I'll mark it off party loot.
Yeah, there we go.
You guys can do
We're
as many
paying the-
transfers as you can afford, but
We're
they
paying
do
the
come with a
kingdom for it.
cost.
Yeah. It's 100 per.
I'm not kidding. This is not a joke. This is the chicken plan is the safest and best plan. If we want to leave him in Toto, that's fine. I get it, but the chicken plan is safest and best.
Oh,
Okay,
we can put him
well,
on my robotic hermit
question.
crabs.
God.
No, that's too small. It could get away. We can't risk him getting away.
right.
We should have put him in a sloth. Those things can't even move.
The chicken is easy
Well-
to place in a cage. It will never get out of it. It poses no threat or danger to
I'm
anyone.
just telling you, if we put his soul into a hermit crab and gave the hermit crab to some of our, fish followers, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, but hermit crabs don't have a long lifespan like chickens do. He could
Do you
just
have any-
die of natural causes.
You got any female hermit crabs? Because we could, bring back the Crustateers, get him some pussy.
That's
I'm leaving.
Dark.
I'm leaving
Real
this
dark.
campaign.
I was-
I'm leaving this group.
I was hoping I would never have to
That's-
hear that word
that's
again.
an
You guys want
example
to
of
turn me
dark for
into
this game.
dragons so I can just eat Nordo now? Because
Okay. Yeah.
I fucking hate it here.
I'm gonna put Flick into Mr. White's body so he can get his shit done, and then I'm gonna ask Toto if he's not feeling well. Would you like me to get? Would you like to regurgitate your meal into a chicken?
All right.
I'll
First
go get a
things-
chicken.
First things first. Flick, are you ready?
yeah, I had one question though.
Sure.
Are attunements attached to the body or the soul?
Soul.
Okay, cool. So I don't have to reattune to things.
Yep,
Neat.
they'll stay attuned. Nordo,
Even
what's
then,
up?
we'll be
I'm
traveling
sorry.
for a
I
while.
just have to also add that if we put Mr. White in a chicken, I can still talk to him and speak with animals. Okay, carry on.
Okay.
Do you guys want to make something really
we also have
interesting?
telepathy.
After we move Flick's body to a different body, I can try to revivify his original body and see how that works.
It does require
Will it
a
pull
living
the soul?
A living,
But his soul is living in a
free
different
and
body.
willing, free and willing.
It does have to be willing. That's
His
the big thing.
his soul's
It also
not free.
wouldn't be free. It'd be in a different body.
I'm just saying we could try it. Anyway, moving on.
Try it.
You want to spend 300 gold to try it? Are we at that point in the campaign where we're
Wait.
just burning?
Well,
So
we're
if-
swapping souls
so if
between
we-
chickens and dragons, so I think we are at that point of the
If
campaign.
Flick dies in
Fair.
Mr. White's body and we cast Revivify, would he go back to his body?
So, please, somebody please say you pull a switch.
I pulled a
Yeah, we
switch.
pulled a switch. We're moving
There
on.
is. I'm so fucking glad you picked Flick for this. You
Oh
guys
boy.
pull the lever. There is the flashing of energy, the cracking of lightning, the build up, the flash, the pop, and just like before, presumably somebody is there expecting it and ready. Flick's old body first reverts from a planetar into his true tabaxi form, and then goes limp. It just simply, it's dead. It's a corpse.
Nomad dies as well.
Somebody catch him.
I will catch him and start casting Gentle Repose.
All right, excellent.
However, I don't know if it's like, can I divine sense while his soul is pulled from his body, specifically trying to see if, obviously he's rung up as demonic to me before, or fiendish or whatever, is it specifically the curse on him? Or is it his soul, or...
Boy, this is such a delight. And I don't know why I didn't prepare for it, because I knew that you guys were considering this. But some things happen all at once. First of all, you use your divine sense. And I'll say that you don't even need the checks required to do it. You pop your divine sense right as the machine hits its climax and the transfer happens, so that you can try to watch closely to see what exactly rings up as fiendish. When the flash happens, you can sense this fiendish presence move very quickly through the lightning into Mr. White's body. And you can see that it lingers there. The entirety of this enormous white dragon now lingers with fiendish energy. And you can see that there's actually a little bit of a brief transformation that happened. You can see that some of his horns begin to curl back and kind of twist into the same ram horn pattern that Flick has. You can see that his eyes that were just kind of stuck open with that dead stare begin to kind of turn golden, and they get the cat eye slit. But then it doesn't take a breath at first for quite some time, for about 20 or 30 seconds. For a minute, it just sits there catatonic. There's no response, no idea where Flick is.
Uh-oh.
Whoops.
Can I like investigate to see if this dragon is like breathing, alive, whatever?
Also, I gentle repose Flick. Never mind.
Flick. I need a charisma saving throw.
Okay. Wait. I gotta make sure my charisma's back at my charisma.
Yeah.
That should be a 22. Yeah.
Seems pretty important. Oh.
Eef.
Who's got inspiration?
Yeah,
I
I've got
don't.
inspiration. I'm gonna use that. God damn it.
Ugh.
Can I triple stamp a double stamp? I have inspiration too.
You can't triple stamp a double stamp. You have a 30-foot aura currently, right?
Of course I don't.
Okay. That's right, I
He's
forgot.
close.
10 foot.
Alright, Nordo, give me a medicine check.
He's just dead.
God, were there two souls
I-
in me the entire time? I'm so upset.
Can I get an investigation check on that too?
Sure.
Does my gentle repose feel like it worked? Did it connect to something?
Let me double check real quick. You were gentle reposing Flick's old body, the corpse now?
Flick's old body. That was the plan, right? Because we can't let that body die.
Yeah, the spell goes off as expected. You place a couple of coins over the eyes. And knowing that you were over there ready to do it, you are kind of next to Flick's old body. Yeah, you're able to catch it as it falls and then quickly gentle repose it, put a couple of coins over the eyes, cross its arms in front of itself, and you see that it just kind of takes on this golden sheen as the spell sets in.
I hate that you had to check.
I'm just kind of reading through gentle repose, and it really doesn't seem like this protects his soul at all.
Question:
Yes.
Does whenever the soul is being transferred, does my true sight, is it able to see the soul?
Does True Sight allow you to see into the ethereal plane?
It does.
Delightful.
Good boy.
There is, and you would have been able to see just a little bit. Give me a perception check. I'm not going to give shit for free. Give me a check. Give me a
I'm going to be able
check.
to. My passive is 30. I can see everything.
Yeah, your passive's 30.
I want to take my passive, please.
As the flashes are happening, you do spot just a little bit more detail than everybody else does in the harsh light of this transfer. And specifically, you see what...
What is that taken from?
Good.
Oh, Christ.
Just imagine the music, please.
Yeah, this really didn't get nearly as far as I was expecting it to. This was supposed to be the easy part. I did roll a 50 on how to use this machine, so I assumed I would be competent at it,
Yeah,
but apparently...
No, this is in no way a shortcoming of... Like, you operated the machine brilliantly. This is a very Flick-specific thing. And
God damn it.
all will be
This is
revealed.
Flick's fault. Yeah.
It is my fault
Thanks,
for rolling a
Mom.
9 and an 8.
Thank you for that, Eli.
All shall be revealed momentarily. Ace. First of all, when Mr. White was transferred into Toto, you saw that the enormous kind of translucent blue ectoplasmy vision of a dragon is sucked out of the mouth of this great white shark that he takes the form of and pulled into Toto. You saw that. You saw a ghost being pulled from one body into another body. And it was quick, it was brief, and once the body is absorbed, it's no longer on the ethereal plane. It finds a new host, and it's gone. It's all in a very quick flash, but you have keen eyes and you were able to see. When the lever is pulled and Flick's body has the energy of this machine pull his spirit from it, you see that Flick's tabaxi body turns into this ghostly form and is sucked out of this angel, which then quickly reverts and goes catatonic. And it begins to drift. I say drift, it's fast. It's a very fast transfer. You see that it begins to zip over towards this dragon. And there is a hand that reaches up from the ground. And when I say hand, I mean like a giant's hand. It is as big as Flick. It can fit Flick's entire torso into its palm. It reaches up and grabs him. You can see that even in its ghostly form, there's this aura of sulfur and smoke that kind of spews off of it. You can see that the skin
Is it pale?
is pale white. You can see that it has these long claws that kind of extend around until the fist tightens. And Flick, you see all of this firsthand.
Oh boy.
You, for a moment, see this flashing vision of yourself being drawn towards the dragon, and then you're caught. You don't feel it, you have no physicality to it, but you can feel this sudden drop of momentum as the hand reaches up, grabs you, and then Ace, you watch as whoop, it just pulls down into the floor with Flick's ghost.
Can I try casting
Oh,
this?
God.
Can I try casting Protection from Good and Evil?
Yeah. I was just going to do.
Give me initiative. Both of you give me initiative rolls.
Ah! Oh my god! Please save
I
him,
have
my
advantage,
foe
so I'm going to roll
friend.
twice.
Sweet.
Help.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is this person a ally of the Pale Knight? Because they cannot teleport within 120 feet of me because they're still warded.
They are the ethereal plane. I think this is a legit ruling. The ethereal plane is not within 120 feet of you. It is.
That's
separate
fair.
Yeah. I like where you're going, and
Fair.
I'm glad you reminded me.
Quick send Moat to the ethereal plane.
Ace, you see this hand reach up, and with lightning reflexes, you cast your spell. Let's see. So the spell ends. Creature that you touch. You would have had time to move over there. Dead. Can't be charmed, frightened, or possessed. Advantage on any saving throw against the relative. Okay.
Would that give him rerolls on both of the on his rolls, since he would have an advantage?
You cast your spell. There is this horrible twisting feeling in your stomach, Nomad. I don't know if you've ever experienced lightheadedness or dizziness from standing up, low blood pressure.
I have. Chris cast.
It feels like that. It feels like all of a sudden you have just lost a huge chunk of what is keeping you standing 2 feet on the ground. But you watch Ace in a flash reach over, cast this spell, and then Ace, you see the hand as it's beginning to pull down through the floor, releases its grasp. You can see that there's white searing light that kind of like scars its hand, like it's touched a hot skittle, and it has to just rapidly release it. Flick's ghost bursts free just long enough to over into the dragon's soul. And with a huge lumbering dragon's breath, takes a gasp. And Flick, after all of this, you do wake up inside of an ancient white dragon.
Oh
What the
shit,
fuck
guys!
would have happened?
Oh.
What the
shit.
fuck would have happened? Would
Shit,
Flick have
guys.
just gone to hell?
Yeah.
I think so.
So, guys, I don't know if
Oh
you.
God.
Well,
Fuck.
let me see what just happened. A giant white hand just tried to grab Flick's soul.
Yeah, I was there for that.
I'm not talking. I'm talking to everyone else who couldn't see it,
Oh,
since I'm the only person who could see it.
right.
Can I tell? I mean, obviously, I'm trying to not meta and look at the turn order. Do I know who that was? Or I can also describe it, and Flick might know who it was.
I'm trying to remember how much you actually know about this character.
It's so hard because I think the last time I remember.
We met him once in the Feywild, didn't we? Was that Plague Fisher,
Yeah,
or was that somebody else?
You did.
You want him.
What's your passive investigation?
My passive investigation is it's either 24 or 29. I forget which one it is. I forget which one I get.
Give me an investigation check.
If you have advantage, it's 5 higher.
Yeah. He's the whole reason that
I always
Flick's
have
had
advantage.
dimensional shackles for 50 sessions or something, or 100
Yep.
sessions.
Yep.
There is around the ring finger of this giant hand, kind of like a scarified tattoo of sorts. I guess it would just be scarification of these infernal runes. And that to you is immediately familiar. You recognize that from the vision of Plague Fisher that you saw in the Feywild, and also from the hologram that you saw in the Sunken Observatory. You've seen this in 2 places now, and you recognize that it is indeed the same plague fisher that you've run into once or twice.
Okay.
Wait, what are you talking about? He tried to.
He
I
reached
see
through the
nothing.
ethereal plane and tried to grab Flick's soul as it was moving over. I saw the dragon soul moving over too when we moved into Toto, but this time when Flick was moving over, this giant hand reached up. The
So
plague
wait,
fisher's
was he
hand.
just chilling in the ethereal plane the entire time?
Yeah, I have a.
Yeah, where did the hand seem to come out of a portal or what?
It, as best as you can tell, just seemed to burst up from out of the ground and grab him.
It seems like maybe they
Fucking ground.
got a close eye on Flick. Like,
Which
we need
means that
Uh,
moving him back into his bodies could be dangerous.
yeah.
Unless we
Yeah.
can do it, maybe we should do it in the workshop next time.
They
Well,
should.
we can't because the dragon.
They shouldn't be able to watch Flick right now. Divination from any of the Pale Knight's allies should not be able to see Flick right now. So
Not-
I'm like.
Maybe he's no.
They're just around nearby.
Only,
Yeah,
yeah.
I just meant like not in like a. They're probably closer than we think they are.
Right. Like they can't divine us, but they could have been following from the ethereal plane.
I could see into the ethereal plane.
I don't know if God do that for a while. So maybe they've just been following us from a distance.
It also could be that they just have foot soldiers who were following from a distance, watching, and they were just reporting that we were about to do it.
Or maybe
I mean,
they
if-
like.
Please
Maybe
do
they've
Dragon
got a
Voice
man on
Flick.
the inside.
Yeah, I just meant. I guess they know they shouldn't see us through divination magic, so they're probably like on our tail.
Yeah. Flick, how
That
are
or-
you? How are you feeling though, Flick?
How am I feeling? I don't know.
For what it's worth, you wake up. Your wrists are a little sore, like they've just burst through some heavy metal chains as their size transforms. You feel like you're in the body of an ancient white dragon and have all of the stats of an ancient white dragon with your own mental stats and spellcasting.
Oh, boy.
I meant more like, how do you feel about the fact that you were just grabbed by the plague fisher?
Oh, I
Your
didn't
soul-
like
as a
that at
soul.
all. Do I know? I guess I probably looked it up at some point. If not, I probably should. What happens to warlocks when they die?
Depends on the pact.
Yeah, it would depend on the pact. Give me Arcana or Religion.
Okay.
Actually, I'm
Would
going
you
to make it Religion specifically for you.
Would you like me to
Okay.
come to you?
Oh yes, please, because I'm terrible at this shit.
Yeah, I'll just do my own religion check.
Yep, I'll help you.
Yeah, okay. 31. Here, what do we know about warlocks? They're such strange
Because
people.
I only got an 18.
So, it's... Oh, boy. With both of those checks, there's nothing inherent about a warlock's pact that means their soul goes to the hell or that it belongs to whoever gave them the thing. If specifically you made a pact with a demon or a devil, then that could potentially have ramifications, like your soul belongs to them for eternity. But as far as you know, Flick, your pact isn't with the Pale Knight
Right.
anymore.
Yeah, it's with the demon
Right.
mother.
Well,
But you
not his
still-
pact, but his mother's deal. Or Pearl, right?
That stands out as a possible option.
Did
if-
we ever find the details exactly of that? It was just like to save his life, right?
Save for his dad, right?
You would be
Right.
aware with your 31 that when somebody makes a deal with an actual devil, and especially one that involves their soul, that is ancient and primal and deep magic. That is foundational magic that goes far, far below the depths of any other magic. That it's the level of magic that the gods themselves have to operate around and within.
Do you say that out loud?
I do. Nomad usually just tells everyone what he knows.
I might have a solution. Ooh, this is a long shot, but I can try.
Okay.
I hold a hand out to Flick first. We'll start there. And assuming Flick is willing to get rid of this pact on him, I'm going to use Cleansing Touch and end one magic effect that is on Flick.
Oh boy.
Clear an ancient magic with
I
cleansing
dispel
touch.
magic.
I mean,
It might work. I
Yeah,
want to see.
You can certainly try. Let me go look this up. Okay. All right.
4th level paladin.
I give you the help
14th,
action.
sorry.
I mean, the cleansing of a paladin is probably one of the better things to get rid of a demonic
Yeah,
pack.
I was gonna say it's a 14th
Like-
level paladin feature.
Yeah.
Use an action to end a spell on yourself or a willing creature that you touch.
What will this do to his mother, though? Nothing, right? She didn't pay
It's
the
not a
price.
spell, really. So my guess is
Give me a charisma check, Mo.
You have the help. I helped.
To think, if we would have known this before, we could have just asked that angel to do this too.
Ooh,
26.
That would have been
pretty
nice.
good. Oh my goodness.
Oh, my poor dex went down to 10.
Yeah. So to be clear, your physical stats get updated. Your mental stats stay the same.
Okay.
Is he an ancient white dragon now?
Ancient White Dragon.
Do I get the legendary resistances?
No. You
Okay.
wish.
You do. You do get legendary resistances. You just don't get the legendary actions.
Possibly. Let me double check.
Resistances is not under the legendary faction.
Moat. As you try to connect to this, you can feel that there is an insidious mark. There's clearly some sort of a there's an influence here. It's not a spell. It's not even really an ongoing magical effect. It's more just that because you are a very advanced paladin and you rolled very well in this charisma, you can feel the faint echo of a deep binding fiendish infernal pact, a deal that was struck that has left a mark on Flick and on Flick's soul. And there is still a little bit of residual energy that is emanating off of him, even in this new dragon form, because the clause, the nature of that pact was just triggered. You assume because Flick just died, and that triggered some portion of the pact. It appears that he's still here. It appears that there's no ongoing thing happening right now.
That means
but you can still
the
feel
deal.
you can still feel the echo of this seal, this binding pact that is on his soul.
Can I ask Can we go ask your mom what the wording was on the
Yeah. Also,
Yeah, I'll
did it seem like
pass that
Nomad
all
was
on.
about to just die too?
He certainly didn't look healthy. He looked like he was about to faint. In fact, he probably,
probably-
did fall on his ass. Yeah.
He probably landed, yeah.
Can I? Okay, so after the kind of chaos of all that, I'm gonna pop another divine sense. Does Nomad look like he still has the curse on him?
Nomad is still the same mixed bag that he always kind of reads steel. There's little traces of fiend, little bits of everything in him.
Okay.
Largely, well, I guess you don't get aberration. There's little traces of fiend, fey, and celestial in there.
I mean, I
Around.
can divine sense and get aberration and just tell, or not divine sense.
It's mostly, yeah. I mean, it's beyond me to stop it, but you dying definitely triggered something.
did
Great.
him. I mean, I guess you don't know. Did him die and hold up the bargain? Like, is it done now?
No,
I
it's
guess they
definitely
didn't
not
get
done.
Didn't get what they came for, huh?
No, it's still lingering, and it's moved to Mr. Flick.
Mr. Fleck.
Mr.
Mr.
Flick.
Flight.
Well, it's gone to his soul, not to the body.
Mr. Flight.
But they're definitely not done with you. That you dying triggered something, but
Right.
they didn't get what they came for,
Right.
clearly.
Nomad slams his fist on the ground. Mr. Wick.
I'm sorry, God, don't strike me.
Real quick, just because you did
Mr.
really well
Wick.
on this check and on your charisma check, you would also be aware that this sort of a pact, this sort of a bargain, it's not something that they have to like actively monitor for. It's closer to like a contingency or a geas where it just kind of it happens automatically, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, in other words, you don't get the sense that there was a demon lurking in the shadows waiting to snatch his body, so much as the clause was triggered, so the magic happened.
Okay. it's like a
Gotcha.
dependency.
Flick, if you don't mind me asking, what is the parameters of your pact with your current patron?
With
Like-
the
Yes.
Deep-
Like what?
team mother.
Deep mom.
Deep bomb.
Teeper Daddy.
Shallow dad.
It's a good question. Whenever I started the pact, I was basically dead. You know, the whole throwing myself in the ocean bit. She said that there was more for me to do. God, it's been so many sessions since we talked about this. I'm trying to remember myself. There wasn't any, like, you know, going to hell bit.
But you owe her something. I'm assuming not your soul, otherwise she would have attempted to get it too.
I'm assuming it's my services doing, you know, all of this, considering she can't exactly do it herself.
Certainly what she made it sound like. She just
Right.
wants to hold up your end of the bargain by getting rid of the Pale Knight.
Right.
Also, did I see a symbol on his, like, or something like a physical marking on his soul that was as it was being grasped and then transferred?
Give me a perception check. Well, you already did. Nothing like that. No like arcane sigils or anything like that were super noticeable.
Okay. Not even with a 30?
Not even with the 30.
It would be kind of cool if your soul was like branded or some shit, though.
Well, looks like the next time we put you back, we're going to be running into the same problem.
Right. So my pact before, did we have any sort of clause like that we discussed? Because I don't remember that out of character. I'm not sure if I would in character.
Your pact with the Deep Mother?
No,
Or the one before.
The one before.
No, that pact never had anything about like when you die, your soul belongs to me or anything like that.
I didn't think so.
Yeah. No, I feel like Flick is a smart enough person to not make that kind of a pact.
Yeah. No.
For what it's worth, it seems that the spell Ace cast prevented your soul from being stolen and also mine. So if we cast it on myself and yourself, I think it will prevent this from happening the second time we move you back.
Right.
In theory.
Since it's brief. Obviously, if I actually die, that's a different story because there's no place for it to go. But
that is you did, for the record, just actually die. We just watched you die, and someone tried to drag your soul to hell.
Body's right. Do you shake his body?
Yeah, you know how they talk about out of body experiences. This is real fucking weird. They don't like the coins. I mean, I get it, but I don't like it.
Your voice right now is like.
Oh, here! Yeah, I pull out a piece of gold and and I throw it.
Oh yeah, do I have to talk like a big dragon? I don't remember what he sounded like.
To keep your accent, but you have to make it deeper.
I like your accent.
Okay.
Oh, I'm Flick. I'm a dragon now.
I'm a dragon now. I have to talk like this. It's great.
Hello, mate.
Oi, mate. I'm Flick. I'm a dragon and a pirate.
Could you imagine Elise walking into the room going on?
For the record, she's standing right outside the cell watching all of this happen.
I contact her mentally. We're okay.
Are you sure?
Sorry.
As okay as things are gonna be.
He's still sitting on the ground.
Is this how the ritual is supposed to go?
Hold on a second. How is it devil or demon able to grab a soul and pull it past the crosswinds to hell?
What a delightful answer. Or question.
Don't they have to worry with the crosswinds too? How can they even take
They're
your soul?
working with Mr. White. Sorry, fucking Ozadir.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they know how to...
Ozymandias.
I mean, I guess...
We know a little bit about their relationship, don't we? We learned that from or Barter.
In theory, the crosswinds should be in between this plane and hell, right? But hell's also beneath us, so maybe the crosswinds aren't down there?
Well, the concept of up and down isn't really a thing when it comes to planes.
I'd say down there is...
Yeah.
What I meant more is demons can come from hell.
Yeah.
And they would normally have to go through the crosswinds, right?
That's very odd, yes.
We should have asked the angel. Does that angel... I guess they could just go through a portal or teleport.
For the time being, we got our Flick Dragon and our Dragon Toto, and I got this here chicken in case we need it.
Don't do anything to Peppa.
Flick, would you like to attempt to transform into the old form? See if you retain that ability.
Ancient white dragons technically can't do that. It has to be an ancient gold dragon, so I don't think I get that
I
action.
think it's like bronze and gold or bronze.
Yeah.
and
Oh,
gold.
that's different in this world. Usually,
So
it's just
this
metallics.
dragon had the ability to, but we weren't sure if you would be able
Yeah,
to or
If I
not.
would. Okay, I can try. I mean, you just kind of you have to like clench your butthole a little bit.
Yeah, just flex your glutes.
Give me. Oh fuck, man! An explore
Sphincter
your body
check.
check. Give me an explore your body check.
Okay.
Sphincter check. Con
Probably-
save.
Int or wisdom or maybe charisma.
You know.
It's a
If-
survival check.
If you can't figure out what muscles you have to flex to do it, we should actually probably ask the Burger King. He probably would know.
That's a good point.
That's true. Or even Trace, who might be a little bit more reliable.
Trace is already gone.
Yeah, but we could just cast Sending.
And since
That's
I'm not proficient, I get my D4.
Hey Trace, what buttholes do you have to clench to change your shape? Thanks.
How many buttholes do dragons have?
As you take some time to explore your body with a 15, you do eventually figure out how to gleek. And when I say gleek, what I actually mean is breathe
Breath.
life-ending frost breath. That can
My skin.
kill hundreds of commoners at once.
I'm putting it in as Gleek
Perfect.
in my skills.
It's a little bit exhausting, but you do.
Can you call it glacial gleek?
You do figure out how to use the frost breath. You figure out how to fly. You presumably are going to need to get outside to do it, but you're able to control your wings, and you can feel yourself beginning to lift off a little bit. When you try to shapeshift, you try every muscle that you can think of, and you kind of eventually just come to the conclusion that it's not a biological thing, it was a magical thing, and unless you magically know how to change your own shape, it's not something that you inherit by taking over his body. So, in other words, you would have to use your own true polymorph to change your shape.
Okay.
No matter how tight I quench this butthole, I'm just not changing.
I get the feeling that you should probably do that before we leave the cell. That you probably can't leave, but it might be scary to everyone if they just see like a dragon emerge, and it might blow our cover.
Yeah, it might be best for you to do the whole magic changey thing.
Oh, we can put a
first.
bag over your head.
Oh, I get that'll definitely do it. You know,
When,
just a bag.
after you transform.
Right. You know, or I could just do the thing that I can do. Not. I mean, I'll have to do this after the polymorph, but
Oh,
I can just do that all the time.
and just like look like you until the
Right.
wedding?
Yeah.
Is it?
Although
Is
taller.
it? Is disguise self a concentration spell?
No.
don't
It just
think
lasts
so.
an hour. It just lasts an hour.
Alright, you find that you're still able to cast that magic.
Okay. That won't work on a dragon. I mean, it would, but I'd have to be very, very tall flick. I guess I'll use my true polymorph and turn back into myself.
No, you gotta turn into Mr.
the
White.
idea was-
Well, I turned into
Sawagan
Mr.
form.
White, so I have to be a Sawagan. Okay. God,
Shark
there's
Sawagan.
so many layers of this shit. Okay.
So now you're just a shark person.
Alright,
Now I'm just a shark person.
Flick is now a shark person. Magically. Who, in actuality, is a giant dragon. But only temporarily because his soul came from a tabaxi. Which is half demon.
You
They
have
can't go
so
back, or the
many.
hells will claim him.
You have so many temporary hit points, though. These are just like throwaway bodies.
Yeah.
Well, I think if he falls into the dragon body, his soul gets snatched. So I think it's just the one temporary.
I've also got some moral qualms about using other people's bodies as throwaway bodies.
Right, but
Like
but
Gale
not a
does too.
chicken's.
He's not using it.
Well, he's not using it because we took him out of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's how murder works. We murder people all the time.
Oh God.
I
Christ.
get like 333 temporary hits.
For the record, this is not a true polymorph. This is your body now. Like, if it dies, you just die.
I just die.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't die.
But
Well-
he doesn't because Flick has been gentle reposed? How does that work? You should try to die.
I think the body doesn't continue to rot, but I don't think the soul is tethered to it.
What if
so
I
the
keep
soul
it in
is
my backpack all of the time, and then when I do die, I can just, jump over?
Actually,
I just have to have Ace do it real quick.
you know what you should have done? We should have put your body in the bag of holding on the dragon, and then when you
I would be inside me.
you would be inside yourself.
This is slightly more for real. What was the plan with Flick's body? We're taking it with us?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's planned.
I think we're just
Okay.
shoving it in a bag of holding because you
I
can.
imagine it's just dangling on your shoulder right now. You're wearing it.
wearing
Does
myself
anybody
as a-
here
Is it,
know?
wait, is it an object? Can he just
Yeah.
true polymorph with while holding it and it's just in his body?
Does
It's not a-
Annie?
Yeah, fact.
It's not a creature anymore. It's just
Tell
an
us.
object.
The age-old question of, is a body
But-
an item?
It
But
is.
if he does that, does the gentle repose no matter on it? How does that work?
I more think. Does the ethereal plane cross over into a bag of holding?
Yes. Oh my god. Yes, it does. The ethereal plane is sort of a transitive film that exists between all planes. It is
Okay.
it's the glue between the planes.
So
That's unfortunate.
something in the ethereal plane could just pickpocket your bag of holding.
Yes, and they know that Flick died.
Is that what
We
you're saying, God?
Kind of, but it's very hard for things to actually exist on the ethereal plane.
But like, how can they get into the bag of holding without opening it?
Well, you can't
Because it's a different
influence.
dimension.
You can't influence things between the two.
So then it wouldn't have access to the bag of holding. Bag of holding is a separate dimension that is closed off in the material plane.
But the bag of holdings dimension has an ethereal plane of its own.
Right.
Yeah, but only in order to get to that, they have to be in the plane that is adjacent to its ethereal plane. So they have to be in
Do
the bag of
bags
holding.
have ghosts?
Because wouldn't the ethereal plane for the bag of holding not exist in the exact same location? Because like it's not open.
Okay, hang
The
on.
bag of holding isn't open.
Wait for it. We're getting to it. We're getting there. All right. The blue,
Can I get a diagram?
the blue sphere is the material plane. The green skin is, starting over. Blue sphere is the material plane. Green skin is the ethereal plane. It is the layer between the material plane and the other outside planes. When you make a bag of holding, it creates a little pocket dimension, and that pocket dimension has its own skin, its own ethereal plane. And things can kind of slip back and forth between them, but they're not really connected, right? A ghost, in theory, could... If something died in your bag of holding, if you put Bob the Goblin in your bag of holding and he died, his soul would go into the ethereal plane here, and then it would fly out here back to whatever afterlife it belonged in, and then it would end up there.
But if someone's in like here, they can't just like reach out into the bag of holding.
Right, they would have to like find the entrance to your bag of holding to get to
Which
it.
would be like in a sea of infinite smaller multiverses, multi-dimensions.
Right.
I think that what just happened, though, proves pretty clearly that it ain't real hard for them to find Flick when he dies.
I think
Right.
That clearly they have some sort of connection with him, and they're just going to know when he
Right.
dies.
Quick question before I move on. Can I use my true polymorph to turn into an ancient topaz dragon, which does have shape change, so that I can change it to humanoid form?
There we go. Now we're cooking.
Fuck me.
is it a CR level or
Yeah.
It's the CR20, so
Yeah.
Sure.
that's actually wait.
Your
What's
CR
the
is
ancient white dragon? Yeah,
20.
same CR, same
20.
CR. So
Then yeah, theoretically. Just
I'm a
be
Tabaxi
aware.
Cambion soul inside of an ancient white dragon.
you would lose your
You're polymorphed
internal stats.
into an ancient topaz dragon to his shape changed into Sahagin Shark Man.
Yeah, just be aware that if something with True Sight, which is the whole reason that you guys are doing this to begin with, if something with True Sight looked at you, they would see all of those
And
layers
two
except
dragons.
except for your original soul.
They would see that ancient white dragon is pretending to be a different dragon. They think that's just layers of protection a dragon
Yeah.
is using. It wouldn't be
Yeah.
that weird.
You
Just
could
the dragon
And you
is
would,
weird.
Yeah, but
you would
Flick,
lose your mental
lose.
stats in your
Yeah.
spellcasting.
Also, if the true sight came from a true seeing spell, they wouldn't see through my ward, so you're fine.
Yeah.
Okay, would I lose my spellcasting when I turn into Sahagin anyway? Because they
That's
don't have it.
true, I guess.
So I
Unless
might as
you-
well be
unless-
the dragon because the
unless you
ancient
turned
dragon's
into a
gonna have
version-
higher mental stats than I do and higher physical stats than I do. So transforming into the ancient topaz dragon might be the better idea.
Yeah, you could just be a turducken of dragons.
It's gonna be a turducken of dragons, and then I'll still have some spellcasting through the dragon, as opposed to not having any.
Sorry, Elise, it's a procedure.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys have put a lot of thought into this.
We have not.
Almost too much, one might
Oh,
say.
and you'll be amphibious.
3.5
Almost like
sessions,
6
one
hours
might
worth.
say.
I like how you started this session by saying if things take too long, you're gonna push it along.
No, to be clear, I'm about 20 seconds from saying you guys are at the Wandering Sun, but
So
Okay.
we were like there, and then we were like, oh, we gotta see if Flip goes into Dragon.
We're trying to figure out the shit.
Okay, we can jump forward. We'll figure out the polymorphing.
all right.
Yeah.
So
We're gonna dive under the water with the crescent moon, crescent sun, crescent
Crescent King.
crescent boy, king, and then we're going to turn it invisible, go up, drop a ladder down, come down, put it back in the bottle
all
after
right,
we land.
I love it. Give me somebody just give me a sailing check of some sort to do all of this, to approach stealthily while submerged underwater, not get eaten and attacked by the various abominations that live in the ocean, and then to rise and find a suitable place to sneak in and dock without being spotted.
Would that need to
Well,
be
invisible.
Gale because Flick is no longer good at sailing?
I'm also proficient in vehicles.
But are you actually?
Yes.
I trust Moat.
Come on.
Oh, why'd you say that out loud? I'm gonna get in that one now.
I'll
I help
help
you.
Moat.
We help you. We help you. It's fine.
Hey.
Oh, thank
Ooh.
God.
See, I had the utmost faith in you.
That's 32.
With a combination of proficient sailing and the experience that you've learned about airships along the way, and also just kind of your knowledge of how mercenary operations work and how shipping lanes tend to work around places of business, you are able to pick a remarkably safe and effective path in that avoids all of the major watchtowers, it avoids all of the docks, and it specifically avoids all of the guard patrols that are being done around here. There are these huge kind of ES-class ships that dwarf any of the ships that you guys have been sailing in lately. Easily 5 or 6 times their length, crews of hundreds of people, and loaded to the brim with cannons, both mundane and magical. Most of which bear just kind of the generic symbols of the NSS, but you do see that even some of the ships out here are marked with the SSLC, and it seems that, in fact, you can tell that there are 2 or 3 companies that are predominantly keeping guard on this place. There's the SSLC, and then there is an insignia that is 2 W's kind of stacked on each other, and Moat would know this because of his background. It is the Wildfire Right. It is a group of shipwright. Very popular. It's a big subsidiary of NSS. They make a lot of ships, and especially a lot of military ships. And it seems that those 2 companies are doing a lot of the kind of naval patrolling around this place. However, you're able to get up nice and close without spotting any of these things. And you see, up close and personal for the first time, the Wandering Sun.
Anton, waiting for you. Roll initiative, please.
So I started blasting.
Vasu, it's your turn. I need a charisma saving throw.
Oh, what?
What?
Why me?
Because
What
I
did I
said
do?
so.
The
because
other
we're in
elements
the
will fight you
balloon!
off.
Oh no. This is bad news.
Oops.
Oh, it's such bad news.
Take my inspiration.
It makes sense. It's why they're controlling the weather.
We knew that. I just didn't really think about the fact that they're bringing
I
the
think
locusts up in
I'm
here.
gonna.
I mean, I had it. It's got to be just.
Question. If we're underwater and we haven't surfaced yet, is this still affecting him?
It'll be as you surface, as you approach.
It's just the Raiju here, because I had a vision of the Ryujin already. Or I scryed on the Ryujin.
Go and give it a reroll. Somebody give you their advantage.
Do it again. But also, if you're near mode, add a +5.
It's pretty
Much
good.
There we
It's
go.
so much better.
Does it fail?
But not good enough. He dies.
It's not. You don't need a diamond soul.
Okay.
As you guys are approaching, everything seems to be going swimmingly. Moat has picked a fantastic route. Your invisibility is held up just great. You've taken enough time to kind of let the water drip off of you as we begin to rise up. You carefully avoided a couple of scouts as these big ships kind of lumbered by, the creaking of their balloon. There's a point where you hear the wisps of wind, and you see that these air elementals on patrol kind of just circle past. And Moat is very cautious to just freeze the ship for a moment. The Crescent King is unnaturally and almost eerily silent when it's not moving, being propelled by this almost ghostly force as opposed to any sort of physical movement. But as you finally begin to approach, when you get within maybe 200 feet of the closest dock, and they're starting to look and decide which one of these levels you want to set the ship down on, where you want to start, you feel this heavy, heavy pulse of energy coming from the sun, coming from the structure that you see in front of you. You can almost feel it tugs your entire body forward. And you catch yourself and realize that it wasn't a physical force. It was clearly magical. It was ki or spiritual or something along those lines. And it takes a second or two, but eventually you hear a weak and belabored voice from inside of you and says, that was not good. Did you feel that?
Yeah. I didn't like it either.
Something isn't right here. We should be very careful.
Do you think we'd
Something
be
the matter.
safe from this in a pocket dimension?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't even know what it was, but I felt it, and it's good that you felt it too. Whatever it is, I don't know. I don't know what to do because I don't know what that was, but it was powerful. That was powerful enough that I felt it.
Okay. I'm gonna ask Nomad what he thinks about the probability of Vasu and Jarl being protected from whatever that was if they're in like a pocket dimension. Like, say if I jump in the mirror for a bit. Or not the mirror, the lantern.
What happened exactly?
I don't know. There was a big old pulse of something or other coming from the sun, and it
The
kind of
sun?
the wandering sun, not the
Okay.
actual sun. Yeah.
Okay.
And it kind of felt like it was tugging me forward, and I kind of felt like I was gonna throw up my guts through my asshole for a second there. But I mean, I'm fine. But if it's gonna do that again,
Did it? Sorry, did it feel like one element in particular was trying to pull itself through your asshole?
I make a kind of check for that.
Sure, why not? Give me a wisdom check.
Was there a burning sensation?
Yeah.
Did it
It
feel
was
like you were
acid.
passing wind?
Do I get a sense of what this is? What do I roll for?
With your 21, Vasu, I can't remember. Have you, surely at some point in this campaign, you've been mind controlled?
Probably. I
Um,
don't know.
I think he has to.
surely
right?
he must have. Surely, like, everybody's been mind controlled at least once in this campaign.
I mean, monks are really hard to mind control.
That is true.
Yeah, I
but
don't
it's,
think we
but
had.
it's Vasu.
With a 21, though, that's a very good roll. You felt a compulsion. This tugging force felt like it was trying to strip your free will of you and assert dominance over you and assume control of you. And not just one particular element, but like all of you, and specifically with the 21, all of the elemental force inside of you. The key that you've refined and focused on elemental energy, the host that you're now serving for because of your pact with Bjarl, all of that is specifically what was being targeted.
One
Shit.
moment. Could you hold still, Vasu?
You sure?
I kill him.
What's
No.
happening?
Problem solved.
I put my hand over him. I put the false aura and put in that he has no elemental energy whatsoever.
Sick. Okay, excellent. Spell goes off.
Should I also put like a protection from good and evil on you?
Let's see if this works.
Okay.
The false aura specifically, I guess. Specifically, there is no elemental energy within him.
Is this Nistles or it says something different?
It's
Yeah,
Nistles.
this is Nistles.
This is only level 2?
It's only
It is?
level
I was assuming it was like level
So-
5 or something, like
Nope.
way up there.
Super dumb.
I'm going to do some research over the course of the week, just to be sure. It seems to me that this spell changes the way that this appears to other spells. I don't know if it actually, like, makes it so... We'll look at it over the course of the week. I don't get the impression that this is actually going to make him immune to things that target elemental. It seems that it makes... It affects divination and reading spells.
Yeah. Well, then how does the spell know he's an elemental, right?
Also,
Unless
question:
figured it out.
whatever was doing this, did it use divination to find him? And if it did, is
Right.
it an ally of Anton?
That's the crux. Is this a divination spell, or is this just some
Yeah,
other effect that
because-
only hurts elementals?
Because Moat has his thing up. I'm not sure if that makes any difference.
Yeah,
True.
I'll do some research, and I'll do a
Yeah.
little digging and see what the consensus is on that before I make any hard ruling.
I'm just gonna go ahead and just for good
Just mind your business.
safety,
Okay.
put a protection for good and evil on Fasu.
1 million
1
creatures,
minute.
particularly in certain types of creatures. Aberrations list of fiends undead. Okay. Creatures of those types. Okay. Charmed, possessed by them. All right. Okay. Excellent. Cool. Good to know. The next.
It only lasts for 10 minutes, so.
All right. Over the course of the next 10 minutes, I assume because of that nat 20 that you guys just play things very cautious for a second, and you wait to see if anything else happens before you commit to revealing yourself. You want to make sure that Vasu isn't, like, going to get sucked away before you, like, board this. And over the course... Or go ahead, yeah.
Sorry, I play it cautious, but over that 10 minutes while we're just kind of waiting, I specifically pay attention to Nordo and myself, if that makes sense. Do we feel weird in the presence of this overwhelming elemental energy?
Oh, boy. Both,
Yeah,
both-
before you answer that, I will
Sure.
go ahead and commit the resources. As I see Ace doing that, Nordo is going to, like, sit down and focus himself and do a little bit of the same thing, effectively, just on himself.
Okay. Moat and Nordo, give me perception checks.
Oh, thank God, I'm really bad at those.
Okay, this is very weird. Give me a charisma perception check. So whatever the difference is there.
Okay, so I have here a positive argument for this.
Sure.
In the mask part, it says that such as a paladin's divine sense or trigger for a symbol spell, and the symbol spell is not like a divination spell.
That's true.
Spell.
Yeah. Excellent. I'll do some research. That's a compelling argument. Okay, 12 there. All right. What's the difference for you, Nordo, if that's charisma instead of wisdom?
Much worse, so it needs to be charisma.
Yes, it would be.
Then that would be 5 less, so 21.
21? Okay. Moat, you haven't felt anything unusual at all. You still throw the spell up just to be cautious. Nordo, it's a little weird. At about the same time that you notice Vasu kind of wince and something clearly happens with Vasu, you do kind of feel your metaphorical hair stand on end. You don't have any because you're a turtle, but you felt a little bit of a tingle at the same time.
Okay.
Just
Probably just
a
in
faint
response to that, Nordo sits down and does that same little ritual just to make sure that our cover doesn't get blown as we're making our approach. He's probably a little
Do you
bit too.
feel strange as well?
Well, something that maybe I don't know if it's actually anything or if it's just this place. But, I mean, we know the Ryujin is here, Raiju. We know they're in cahoots with the company, so I mean,
That's
we got
true.
all whole parties here now, right? The Phoenix, Bjarl, the Trask, the other two.
I think for
Not
safety.
the water, though, right?
Yeah, I think for safety, I'm going to do the same thing to Nordo.
All right.
Do both the false aura and the mask, because it turns out you can choose both
Perfect.
and just
Excellent. And if I do find out that
prevent him from being detected.
and
Yeah,
if
we'll
I-
go back to it and I'll just pull it back because I
Right.
would know if it's
if we find out that it doesn't work like that, I'll let you refund the spell, swap it out if you need to, or anything
Sure.
like
It's 6
That's-
mana so far anyway. It's fine.
Probably a good idea anyway, because if we're going into this telling them that I'm coming to find them, they'll sure as shit be trying to look in on me.
Yeah. You know what? I also say that you're not Nordo or Added. Does that sound good?
that. Sure. Yeah, like within the realm of like lying
Yeah.
to divination, you can you got carte blanche. You can do basically anything you want with this spell. I just got to check and see if it works beyond like masking and reading and divination. Ace, what's up?
A quick question.
Yes.
Just because we discussed this in the other campaign about using your passive perception, would
Yeah.
Moat be able to use his passive charisma perception and have a higher roll?
That's true. So that would be a little better. What would that be?
15.
15?
15.
Yeah, same sort of deal. 15. At about the same time that Vasu had a very strong reaction, your hand did kind of stand on it. You kind of got a chill down your spine, like you're being watched over your shoulder.
Your horns uncurled. They got real straight and then curled back up again.
You guys wait for like 10 minutes to see if anything else happens, if anything weird happens, before you commit to actually landing. And over the next 10 minutes, there is nothing else that happens like that. You're kind of relieved. You see a lot of these ships kind of continue going about their business, doing patrols around you. There's one point where you kind of have to duck under the shadow of one of these docks just to be safe and get out of the way of some elementals that are about to make their round. But there are no additional pulses, no strange feelings, and after a minute or two, Vasu, you feel fine. You feel back to your normal self.
Not even winded.
Pun
Ha!
intended.
It's a joke because it's a wind elemental.
Leah,
Hey,
do
I wasn't
you,
even thinking of that.
Can we see if I can find a nice place for us to dock that's, or at least
Absolutely.
to drop ourselves off, maybe not dock completely, but
Yeah.
hide the ladder behind some barrels or something.
Yep.
do we
And with that,
know where the NSS is on this thing?
yes. Leah has pointed out the NSS has a storefront up here, which is where they meet with prospective buyers. And then they have basically the breaking facilities down here, which is where they bring in new slaves, and they spend weeks or months or years, however long it takes, breaking them and getting them fit to sell.
And
And
then-
that includes like the food people operation also is up there.
Food people operation is kind of all over the place. Leah wouldn't know exactly where their specific buildings are.
Okay.
But honestly, with the 26 and the nat 20, you guys are able to kind of quickly circle this place and take your pick of the litter for where you want to land. You're able to kind of circle around until you find a couple of warehouses on the lower level, which is where they presumably make a lot of their food. And then they have kind of a storefront up top, which is where they package things up and they get ready to load them onto freight ships to send them out to various warehouses and storefronts to actually sell. So you could theoretically try to stop near either one of those, or at any of these other businesses. You do see the Wildfire Rights has a headquarter here. There's one for a textiles company. There's a couple for books. You can kind of name any basic primitive good, and they have a center for it here, all under the NSS umbrella.
I think to find any real answers, we're going to have to go poking around down where all the head honchos hang out down there. Unless we're going to find a lot of information in the warehouses and storefronts and such.
Is that where we're going to find Anton's office?
Sounded like it. But maybe for now we just find somewhere to land secret like, maybe over there by Bell's Textiles.
Yeah, I'll keep a lookout and see if I'm going to, maybe we can do a circle around. I can try spotting a few places, give us the best options.
Sure. You guys are able to kind of do a little bit of a patrol until you find a nice clean spot. I'll say you've kind of got two choices here. Well, you got three choices. The first is a very kind of crowded, dense area that has a lot of alleyways and a lot of places where you can just like be hidden. It would be very easy to drop down completely out of sight from everybody. There's not a chance that anybody would even see you board this thing, and then you'd be able to go about this like a total stealth mission. The second option is that you can see up on the top deck, there is a group of about 3 or 4 airships that all appear to be kind of outsiders and people from different companies. It looks like, as best as you can tell with a 31 and your nat 20, it looks like they're about ready to do a tour, which is unusual. This place doesn't do tours, which makes you think that it's a bunch of prospective buyers. And in fact, you'd be able to look at all of their flags and see this is like 3 or 4 companies that are all arranging. There's a man up front that is like kind of gathering them together, kind of waiting for everybody to be gathered up. And it looks like there is an actual kind of group of merchants that are about to go on a tour with somebody who runs this thing. And you could potentially try to go the play it cool route and blend in with some of them. And then finally, you see that there is an opening down on the very bottom level that is very well shaded and not currently occupied by any guards or any airships, where you could just try to land down on this bottom level and sneak right into the headquarters and go straight for the throat. So
Okay.
it's kind of up to you which of those three sounds the best.
I think option 1 sounds the best.
Excellent.
Option. I mean, that's why I'm just putting out the party. Third option sounds a little bit too risky, and second option, I feel like Mr. White doesn't need a tour.
Yeah.
He just pass everyone by who he doesn't need to talk to and go straight to business.
Also, real quick, how much mana did you give me, Ace?
I give you 5. We only had 1 short rest, right?
Yeah, only 1. 5. I'll just refund myself 5.
How does that sound, everyone? We can just get into that sneaky little alleyway or something.
Yeah, I think that's just get
Yeah.
on board. We can poke around after that.
Yeah, we'll be invisible until we step off the ladder, and then once we do, Flick just pull it back into the bottle. We keep on going.
All right. You guys kind of pull yourself down onto this lower floor, this very bottom ring, which you know is where a lot of the nitty-gritty, most industrial stuff happens. This is where the goods are manufactured, the slaves are broken, the raw goods are imported and processed. You find yourself a nice little area that is kind of over in the little delicacies area, where there's just 3 or 4 places that all make different kinds of food. And you are able to set down in an alleyway between a few of these buildings and slink off one by one and retract the ship. And you guys have landed. You are all currently hidden in an alleyway, surrounded by warehouses that make food.
This is rather exciting.
In case I need to remind anybody, do not eat any of the food they make here.
It smells delicious. It smells
Does it?
fantastic.
But I want a funnel cake.
You know how when you drive by a Subway, there's that fresh bread smell? Even though it's like shitty
It's
Subway.
not bread.
It's cake.
Imagine that, but it's like 1,300 like bakeries that were all making donuts and cookies and like muffins. It smells like you are just surrounded by confection.
The funnel cakes will poison your mind, and worse, they'll poison your soul. Don't eat them.
I'm
Does
immune
it
to
count
poison.
if
Yeah,
it's
why do
not
you-
my
why do-
body, right?
yeah,
That's
why do-
right? Yeah.
Why do you think that Flick's soul was trying to be stolen from all those donut nuts he ate?
I wouldn't be
Just
surprised. Fast
dragging
food
him
did
down
it.
to hell.
Honestly, that might be what it was. We don't know what it wasn't.
Don't put ideas in his head.
Also, we don't know that these donut nuts are condemning people to hell.
I think they are, frankly.
God, look what you did.
Chaos.
Moat, what's up?
While we're all kind of like dispersing, getting the ship taken care of and whatnot, I rolled really bad on an int check. I'm going to walk up to the balloon and just kind of place a hand on it, try to be alone if I can. And in Primordial, I just whisper to it, the Phoenix is here, and I'm here to set things right.
Oh God. Do I hear this at all or see this?
He whispers
In
it.
Primordial, if it
I
matters.
speak
'Cause I can't-
primordial.
Yeah.
That's kind of up to Moat. Like, how quietly are you whispering this thing?
As quiet as I can be, but I mean, I'm also in full plate armor and it's moat, so, you know, even when he's not quiet, he thinks he's quiet.
Sure. At the very least, Ace, you see him go over and whisper something to this balloon, and you can probably tell that it's primordial. You have very good perception. You
I
can
have
probably,
my perception is 30.
yeah,
passively,
you can
so.
probably like make out a few of the words at the very least, even if he's being very quiet.
You just gotta do what you gotta do. It's fine.
Cool. For no reason at all, give me a d20.
Sorry, you cut out. Was that Ace or moat?
You.
Perfect.
Maybe Lowe's good.
It just reaches out of the balloon and grabs you.
It doesn't really matter. Ace is, or not Ace, sorry. Moat's gonna fuck this shit up.
Alright.
For sure.
Nothing happens. You can tell it's, the balloon is very thick canvas. It actually seems to be canvas. I guess you wouldn't even see the canvas bits because it's surrounded in leather that has been painted this bright yellow. And then you can see over that there's a mesh net and then a heavier rope net on top of that. And then iron chains that go all the way up. For a balloon, it looks A, very heavy, and B, very reinforced. But you kind of press your ear to it and whisper, and nothing really happens in return. But
You know,
That's fine.
now that we found ourselves here, I kind of feel like plan B ought to be plan A. I don't know how we're going to find information about the NSS without getting down to those main offices, and I don't know how we don't do that unless we just say, we're Mr. White, we're here to talk. Unless you think we can sneak down there, but I suspect that's a little better guarded than the rest of the place.
While we're at it, would anyone else like a disguise? Even if they're not like up close. We'll probably blend in a little more if we're all like humanoid little shapes. The average person here.
I'm good.
Are there kinkus here?
Taking a look around, there's
Now,
not a lot of
what's
activity
the median?
on this floor. There's not a ton of activity on the street. You would see every now and then a group of people kind of moves from one building to another. Usually a manager escorting a bunch of workers. Give me a perception check, somebody.
Yeah. Can I also do a primeval awareness while we're doing this and see how many people are here?
Yes, you can.
35.
God damn.
Yeah, I could look like a baby though, like a tiny little child.
With your primeval awareness, you're able to estimate down to the exact number that there are about 3,416 people on this ship, and a whole bunch of aberrations down below. And probably one or two aberrations up here for some reason, too. With your 35 in perception, and Nordo, actually, even with the 13, you would notice this. The heaviest guard presence down here is a combination of kind of standard humanoids. There's some dwarves and humans and elves, a couple tabac, and air elementals. There's a surprisingly high number of air elementals that have taken on kind of this humanoid form. They've got chest plates, they've got big spears or scimitars, kind of like the ones that you fought in that arena that one time. But there's like 6 or 7 within your own viewing range on this floor alone. It does seem to you that there is kind of a disproportionately high number of air elementals that are serving as guards on this place. And the second thing that you both notice is that a lot of the workers that are being moved around, either from building to building or even just peeking through windows of these warehouses right next to you, appear to be slaves. Not just the ones in the SSLC building. Like you landed next to a bunch of delicacy warehouses, and peeking through those warehouses, you see assembly lines. And at these assembly lines, you see satyrs, you see some elves, you see a couple of gnomes, a handful of, like a high number of fey creatures, but then all of them are branded with this SSLC brand, this lion wearing a top hat. And you do see that there are also some terrestrial slaves there as well. You see a couple of turtles, you see a handful of kenku, you see a lot of orcs, a handful of goblins. It's slave labor. It's immediately apparent to you that when you look into this place, that it is running on slave labor.
Does it seem like the face slaves are maybe being used specifically for their, I don't know, charm magic in use with the food production?
Seems like a reasonable conclusion. It would be hard to know for sure without going in there investigating, but that does seem like a reasonable conclusion.
Okay. Hold on. Never mind. Wrong character spell. I was thinking locate object, but that's the wrong character. Does anyone have locate object? Could we locate an object that we know that Anton has?
I don't have it prepared, but I
Like
have
Leah's hand?
I have locate creature prepared, but that won't
I
work
mean-
unless we're 1,000 feet.
We kind of know where he is, right? He's down here in these offices. That's where he stays. We just got to decide if we're going to go try to square up with him right now, if we wanted to poke around some more.
When we were flying around, did we see a ship?
Yes, you rolled very well on perception, and you nat 20'd your thing. You did not see any signs of his ship.
He's not here today.
That
Is
gives us
that-
time to scout.
Do you know, Leah, if his ship is always here when he is, or if it go somewhere else with its weird teleporting?
What a good question. Hang on, what would she have been allowed to see? There have been times when I've seen it out on the docks, down below, down there, never up at the top deck. There have been times where Anton has been here and I've not seen his ship.
Maybe
So
be invisible.
possibly.
That or he
Maybe
can
he
just
keeps
summon
his
it.
in a jar too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Say we know it can teleport. He might just be able to summon it when he needs it.
Or like flicks a bottle. All right. Well,
Yeah.
I guess we should head down there. I can make us a little bit more stealthy if we want to move stealthy, or
Gale, part of the reason we're here, like we talked about, is to try to find out what they're brewing around here for Storm Cellar. How do you think we ought to go about this? Do you want to
Well-
go try to poke around one of these warehouses or something, or should we just go try to find who's in charge?
I wouldn't mind. I do worry about maybe scaring Anton off if we make too much noise going in here, but I would like to check out the donut nut shop.
Insight check.
That's a good idea. That's where he's getting the poisons in them.
Is this a hungry check it out or a
is
curious
he, is he,
check it
is he
out?
tweaking out? Is he tweaking?
Is he
he like,
tweaking?
I need them donut nuts, man.
Oh, he's so earnest and so concerned.
Is that deception?
Absolutely not. It's a plus 18. No, he's obviously Gale always wants some more donut nuts, but it also he does want to go and check out where they're making the poisons and or whatever thing is affecting his people, and presumably that would be at the same location, or that would be at least a lead to start following.
if
place
Ozymandias
to
takes his
start,
own
at
mind
least.
control poison, does he mind control himself?
I'm just gonna give this for free because at this point I'm tired as a DM. Ozymandias is
Oh,
a
no.
green dragon.
Yeah, but if he's inside Gale's body,
No.
he doesn't have poison resistance
you
anymore.
You fucked it up,
Sorry,
Zach. You can get
Ozatira.
There you
is
go.
a green dragon.
yes, he's a green dragon. He's immune to his poison.
Yes, but if he's in your body, he's not going to be immune to poison. Meta. I mean, this is meta. This is not in character.
Okay.
Anyways, I mean, if we want to check it out first, we can. We're right here.
I'd say it's worth it before we get moving on.
It's a good
So
idea.
make a bunch of noise.
Do we
Yeah.
want to do this stealthily, or at least
Uh,
attempt to?
Yes, I think that the only person who is definitely has not been seen, Flick, should be the one to go in and maybe ask around.
The problem with that is that if anyone recognizes him as Mr. White and tries to talk to him as if he's Mr. White, he's not Mr. White and won't.
Well.
He can caught
Isn't that a good thing, though?
him
He's-
getting caught as
No,
Don't
If-
I have access to some of his
Well,
stuff?
no.
No. You said not. Okay.
no memories of his.
now if you can play it
Right.
cool enough, then that could accidentally lead us into the meeting we're trying to get to anyway. So
True.
Right, like I don't think that some shop clerk is going to start questioning Mr. White.
Oh, I thought you meant he was going to walk into the facility where they're making the
Yeah.
donut nuts.
Well, we have to figure out where that is. And
Isn't it right there? Didn't we just look
so we
inside
thought
and see it?
is.
oh, is that literally where they're making it? I thought it was just like a donut shop.
So to be clear, neither one of these had donut nuts. You guys have found two warehouses. One of them is kind of a red and white building where they seem to be making a lot of bread. There seems to be some distant racks that have meat drying on hooks, like they're making jerky. And then there's kind of an area that has a bunch of like rows of hydroponics where they're doing some gardening. There's some agriculture that happens on this wandering sun. The other one is a red and yellow building, which honestly seems to be doing a lot of similar stuff. It just has a heavier lean towards agriculture. So your basic choice is red and yellow or red and white.
I say go into the bread shop and see if we can find out where they're getting their supplies.
Seems like a start to me. This is an SS though.
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Once again, is it just going to be Flick going in, or are we going to try to go in also stealthily or look in some windows?
I think we can
I
look
had-
in through windows, but Flick should probably at least initially go alone because, like, there are posters for us everywhere. So
My only concern is, wouldn't Mr. White know all of this?
I
yeah,
don't think he would.
I feel like he was pretty on his own.
They were selling you
Also-
society staple food in his city.
Yeah, but
this-
he
is
doesn't go
this
to
a-
factories, right?
Is this a little delicacy? Is there actually like a place that has like little delicacy branding on it? Because that's what we're kind of looking for, right?
In get me what was your perception check earlier? We had a net 20 and a 13. Looking around, you don't see a big warehouse with little delicacy. That one is kind of like blue and white branding. You know what to look for. But you do see that there is a very small, kind of just an office shack in the middle of this complex that has the little delicacy branding on it. And it has like this just really dystopian kind of 20s propaganda poster of this rosy-cheeked girl giving a thumbs up, and it's like a good worker is a healthy worker, or like, you know,
Ugh.
yeah, it's got that kind of vibe going on.
Well, that might be the place to look instead of this bread shop, because the delicacy is where donut nuts and all that stuff come from in the food court.
Should definitely check there then.
It's just I've been told to watch out for Gail's funny business, and no one has told me that that has changed.
That's accurate. If we're going places, may I disguise myself too? Again, this time just kind of look like one of the folks wandering around there,
Yeah, perfect.
but more like sharply dressed.
Yeah, so
More like
like
unofficiate.
yeah, somebody
Sauron with a
not
business
slave.
suit.
Yeah, if it was like a business suit, like an auditor, like I'm here to audit shit.
Okay.
Oh, he's a health inspector. We should go in as health inspectors and try to shut these places down. Like, no, we won't, but the people will think that we're doing that, and they'll be afraid of us.
Yeah, whatever they've got. I've got a clipboard. I'm going to forge like papers for auditing. Is that okay?
Yeah, you can. You guys are like hidden in an alley. You can take 10 minutes to kind of forge a little paperwork to make it look like you're doing some auditing.
Let's draft. Like I got a clipboard in there.
I'll wait.
28.
Yeah, that's
And then I disguise myself. I've got glasses and everything.
And I'm gonna pass without a trace on us, so that if we do decide to be stealthy, that we have that for the next hour.
okay.
The
Excellent.
question why we're sneaking.
I was
It's
going to say.
because I'm an auditor.
I will point out, pass of that trait, it does, like, how do I put that? If somebody is looking at you face to face and you have pass of that trace on, they can tell that there's some weird magic, like dimming your shadow and stuff like that. So if somebody, I guess what I'm saying is, it's going to be obvious to a bystander that you have a pass of that trace on you if you talk
Gotcha.
to them face to face.
Okay, then I won't put it up unless we do then.
Okay, cool.
Unless we start sneaking, yeah.
Yeah, like it literally dims the volume of everything around you. Okay, cool. So you guys are heading to the blue and white building?
Sounds like it, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
I got my clipboard ready, so yeah.
All right, you guys walk over to the building. You find that it has a front door, but it's kind of just like a very thin, flimsy, kind of mesh door, and it swings right open. And inside, let's see here. Somebody give me a D6.
Ooh. Good or bad?
We'll find out together.
5 of us die. Immediately.
Inside, you find it's very small. It's kind of just like, there's standing room for all of you. Maybe 1 or 2 more people could cram in. And then there's a desk with a bunch of cabinets and books and ledgers behind. It appears very much that, like, this is just kind of an office hub. There's not like a full warehouse or anything here. But you do see that behind the desk, there is a trio of silver kobolds, one of which is wearing these enormous gold-rimmed spectacles that are far too big for his face. The other 2 don't even acknowledge you coming in, but that one kind of looks up towards all of you. He holds up a finger as if to ask you to wait for a moment. He continues scribbling in a few more notes, licks his finger, turns a page, grabs a bookmark, kind of stuffs it in the crack, and closes this big, heavy book. And then he looks up and says, wasn't expecting anyone. What can I do for all of you?
Who's leading us? It's the question.
It was Flick.
Okay.
Was-
Flick.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
picked a really bad time to paint my nails. What exactly are we trying to get out of this again?
We want to find out where they're making their product.
Say we're inspecting the product, I guess.
Health
Why
inspector.
would Mr. White be inspecting the product?
Do they know you're Mr. White?
I feel like he's a prominent enough person that they might know he is.
I think if they
Just-
do, they would recognize you immediately.
Yeah.
Just say I'm Mr. White and just see what they say.
Yeah, I'm Mr.
But if they just go, yeah, I know, then what? Like,
Then just go.
if
What
you're
the fuck are
trying
you
to
doing?
pretend to be someone else, you probably should go in.
Do you want some
Knowing-
persuasion with you? Maybe the.
I can't
Mr.
help.
White
You
doesn't
want-
speak to
I
peons.
just don't know how Mr. White is going to ask for this information, and it makes sense.
I don't think anyone here is going to know you're Mr. White. I think you can just be a guy.
So you're
Why am I leading?
you're interested in their suppliers, and you would like to speak with them.
I'd like to speak with your manager. In
God,
more words
Going to be
than
that person that walks in immediately. I'd like to speak with your supplier, your manager. Curious about your products here. I don't know.
Is that what you're going with?
Sure, I've not getting
Yes.
anything else, so we'll go with that.
Are these products made in America?
Sure. Who are you with?
See, I'm Mr. White.
Salt Bowl.
Salt Bowl. I'm Mr. White. Some of the products in my location have not been up to snuff, I don't think, so.
I see. I'm sorry to hear that. One moment. He
Pushes the panic button
kind of
aggressively.
he pushes this big book aside, and then he kind of reaches down, and digs around under the desk through a couple of shelves, and eventually pulls out another book, smaller but still big for this tiny kobold stature. Hoists it up onto the desk with a slam, opens it up. Salt Bowl, Mr. White. Okay, alright. Oh, we're shipping all sorts of things. Alright, which products did you have issues with?
Donut nuts.
It was donut nuts and
It all comes back to the nuts.
We've come full circle.
fuck. What are the other ones? I know donut nuts; those are my favorite, and they've been.
They are very good. You know you're not supposed to be eating those, right?
I know. I like smelling them. It's
They
different,
will mind control you and rot your soul.
right? I'm
What
aware.
actual confirmation that they want?
Yeah, is he actually saying that seriously or like sarcastically at all?
He would actually be like, you know, you're not supposed to be eating those, right? And he might eat, he would not mention out loud that they mind control you, and certainly wouldn't say rot your soul. That was mostly me joking.
But he
Okay, okay.
implies it. It's implicated.
You're not supposed to be eating those. Yeah, I know. Oh yeah.
It's the implication. The implication.
Have people been discovering the magic, or is in some other something else been unsatisfactory?
I've had some complaints about the magic. They noticed they were magical. I just need to. Oh god, this is so hard to make up.
And with your nails half painted too.
Yeah, it's really hard because I'm having to like crab claw my mouse to push the talk button and not get paint on anything.
Just actually speak to a manager. Say you need to speak to a manager.
And the flavor is apparently different than it used to be, so we aren't getting as many buyers.
I see. I will pass this along to Mr. Silver. And I do have a note here. It says that their manufacturing facility recently underwent some changes. There was apparently a disruption in the supply chain for the service management modules. They apparently had a leak, lost a lot of their gas. So there might have been a drop in quality that was temporary.
Right.
Should be back to normal quickly. Either way, I will make a note here, and if there needs to be any compensation for it, I'll make sure that Mr. Silver addresses that.
Good. Sounds good.
Oh shit! There's a Mr. Silver.
What about Mr. Silver? Are you gonna have me go talk to Mr. Silver? Jesus.
Yes, we're talking to Long John Silver.
We're gonna go talk to Long John Silver. Does Mr. Silver have an availability? I'd like to speak to him about it personally.
He puts that book aside, and he begins to pull out a smaller book this time, and kind of begins flipping through. Let's see, next week. Go and give me a deception check of this.
Right. Okay.
Is there any way that we could try to glean what's on this book as he's flipping through it? This little schedule book, maybe? Maybe like a mirror or something that inconspicuous. I don't want to like make a big deal of it.
I'm gonna give me a perception check. It's gonna have a little bit of luck rolled into it. It's kind of doubling as a luck check. Yeah, 18's real good. There is kind of a glass that is sitting with some wine in it that gives a very good reflection with an 18. And you're able to glean just some basic detail. You would at least, at first you're able to at least confirm that this guy's not lying to you. He reads off some things to you that actually match what are in the book. And it says, it appears that Mr. Silver is at Treasure Pineland for at least the next 2 weeks. If you want, we could get you a flight out there. It would probably be a week before you would arrive. Otherwise, he is scheduled to be back here in about 2.5 weeks. If you wanted to set a meeting. Alternatively, if it is an urgent meeting, we could try to set up an arrangement with one of his colleagues, or we could patch you in through magical communication.
Could you please list every one of his colleagues?
God.
Sorry, carry on.
Actually, as he's flipping through it, do I see like meetings with and like people's names?
Yeah, you do. I gotta dump these at some point, right?
Thank God.
Also,
Here it comes. I'm so excited.
We know
Side
about
thing.
Big Mac.
Behind like Mr. White, I'm just officiously making notes on the clipboard.
So
where's old Mac?
We know Big Mac's a big fire giant.
Yeah, you see the name Big Mac at least once or twice as they're flipping through. There is a security meeting with Wendy. There is a meeting for unknown purposes with somebody listed as King. There are a couple of logistics board meetings with Zhu Paisao and Rigby Beefman, is how it's spelled. Rigby Beefman.
Who?
Beefman?
Rigby Beefman.
Is that Arby's?
Beefman.
Arby's?
And then there is a human resources meeting with Anton Zufen.
When's that for?
Human resources. Human. Sorry,
Oh,
that got me so good.
Is it because he's the only person on this who's actually a human?
No,
No, it's because
because
selling
it's a
human
slaver.
resources.
Oh,
Fucking.
oh, that's funny, but really sad.
I just got it, and yeah.
That was scheduled for a day and a half ago.
Okay.
Damn, we're late.
Also, this is completely not important. Does it look like this guy like enjoys filling out paperwork? And would enjoy a lady who enjoys filling out paperwork?
Give me an insight check.
Just like Edith.
With the 26, no. He's doing his job because he gets paid to do his job. He doesn't seem to find pleasure in it. And in fact, he seems just a little annoyed that he's having to deal with anyone at all. With the 26, though, you would notice that he kind of looked over all of your shoulder, or specifically over Flick's shoulder as you entered. There was a brief moment of concern and then relief, like he was expecting to see somebody, didn't see them, and was relieved to not see them.
Rest of the Whitewater gang or something. Does Flick accurately look like Mr. White? Did we check that?
As far as you can tell, he looks very convincingly like Mr. White.
Okay, just want to check.
Yeah.
Shape change doesn't have a role. It's just you can assume the form of any medium creature.
Gotcha. I
And
didn't know
you
if
had,
that.
like, plenty of time to study him and get it all down.
Yeah.
All right.
Is there anything else that I can help you all with?
Yeah, can I get some hush puppies to go?
We don't do any of the food manufacturing here, at least at this branch. If you want some, I'm sorry, who are you?
I'm with him.
He's shutting up. That's what he is.
Right. Well,
Right. Well, I'll look into paying him a visit. I'll think about it and see what I've got in my schedule and see what works.
sure.
Do you have like a copy of that so I can make plans?
Sure, I can write this down for you here. And he begins to kind of write it out. And there is a point where, with a little bit of a, not even a chuckle, but a moment of humanity, he does kind of look up to you, Vasu, and is like, sometimes when I go on break, I do like to slip over to the Bethman facility. Grab a sandwich over there. It's pretty good.
The what facility?
The Rigby Bethman.
Yeah.
What is that?
Thought it was
The
beef.
Arby's.
That one right
Arby's.
there.
It's
The red and
Arby's.
white one.
What if Wendy
God.
is a wind elemental? Like,
Guys,
like,
we know that Wendy is the
Oh, wait, you guys have-
investigator from Malevolence.
oh, that's right. I wasn't here that episode, so I never met Wendy.
Yeah, the TSA.
Right.
He writes you the slip. All right, this is booked 2.5 weeks from now. I'll make sure to let him know as soon as I can. Make sure to be back here at that time. Time is money, friend.
Of course, yes. All right, let you get back to your money then. Time, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
talking.
Pushes the spectacles back up his face, pulls out the big book, and gets straight back to it.
When he does pull up that book, can I kind of tell just in a quick glimpse like what that book is for?
Yeah. Looking it over real quick, it's just ledgers. It's money in, money out. It's basic accounting and bookkeeping.
Gotcha. What were the other two kobolds doing while this was going on?
Give him a perception check. They both appear to just be doing basic bookkeeping as well. Looks like accounting, ledgers, money in, money out stuff.
I will say that nothing is more satisfying than making perception checks as Ace. It's just so much fun.
Right.
It's nice to see those nice big numbers. All right, so I guess we'll head out. Where should we go
Say,
next?
unless we think we're going to find the secret to what NSS is making for Azadirith by just poking around one of the warehouses or something.
You might be able to, but we might want to wait until it gets a little bit darker.
I think the best route to us finding that information might be a talk with Big Mac in the food court, but they ain't here.
Sounds like it's a Treasure Pineland excursion for that.
But if Anton just met with Mr. Silver a day ago, he might have some information about what they're up to.
Yeah, and if not, then we can always maybe find some, I don't know, dare I say, documents in their office. Something that can give us more information about where they're at, where they're going, what they're doing. More schedule books like this guy had.
Down towards the offices, and it is then, I guess. Do we... I guess it's a little bit too early to do it if we're going to do it, but your whole big skywrite plan, make Anton think it's time for reckoning or whatever. But maybe we should wait till we got a little bit more information.
Yeah, I can always do it tomorrow.
I don't know, is it safe for us to sleep here? I kind of figured this was a...
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
I
about
think
to ask:
this is
are there taverns here, or like what is the deal here?
You did some scouting as you're coming in. You had a nat 20 to pilot your way up. You would see that up on the very top, there are lodgings. There are these very just urban, dense apartment buildings where presumably the workers return to sleep. They do have restaurants, they have taverns, they have basic accommodations to, there are people that live on this ship and they have the things that they need to live here. It doesn't look like it's going to be, a strong nightlife or anything like that, but there are at least apartments and taverns for people to stay in.
Still, I think the less time we spend here, the better.
I guess another question, Leah, is there like a curfew?
Not not a curfew, no, but there's certainly less traffic at night. There's less work happening at night. You would stand out a whole lot more, especially down here on the lower docks. Um, sun goes down. A lot of these places stop working, and everybody goes up to retire.
All right. Well, then I guess maybe we should start. Should we start? Would it be better to head down during
Let's-
the daytime, or?
Let's just head down and fuck them up.
I guess if all the big bosses are gone, it'll be easier to just take over this place, right?
Well, not all the big bosses. I mean, we're still just talking about a couple of the companies will operate out of here.
Well, it sounds
But-
like
The ones that own the slaves, and that's ones that matter.
also it sounds like whenever they were flipping the book, did I see when I saw King's name? When did they meet with King?
That one was kind of old. It was about 2.5 months ago.
Okay, so it wasn't like that was before we met King, right?
It would have been,
Or right around the time we first met him?
yeah, pretty close. I'm trying to remember exactly when you met him, but you've known him. It was
It was-
been a bit.
It was before this whole salt ball trying to get the house thing, right?
Right.
Oh yeah, way before that.
Okay, I just want to make sure that
We
he
met
wasn't,
him.
like,
Yeah, it was before that.
Yeah, he came back during that. So.
We met
yeah,
him for
I
the
know. I
first
just wanted to
time
make
on-
sure. I just wanted to make sure that he wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm cool with you guys, and then like actively still working with them.
Oh, he
Yeah.
definitely is.
I'm sure he is, but
Absolutely
like,
he is.
Like,
He's the kind of guy who's just playing whatever's like most advantageous to him at the moment.
so should I go ahead and have us enter stealth mode?
I think that'd probably be for the best.
are we
How?
sneaking down there, or are we going down there with a gift?
Say, I don't like our odds of sneaking, frankly, with between me and Moat and Leah. Even
What
with your
about-
help?
What about we have some of us sneak up while you guys go as gifts?
I guess that could work. I mean, really, the goal here is for Mr. White to bring me to Anton. As here's your slave you lost, and the rest of y'all can be in hiding.
Right.
Although at that point, like, it would probably be harder for us to sneak through and follow you.
That's true. I guess better for as few of us.
Although, quite frankly, with the way things went with Flick, I'm feeling less and less confident about my plan, so I kind of leave it to you guys.
Well,
I'm not going to push this.
I mean, we could have been practicing him being Mr. White for these past 2 days. You know, like having him.
Oh,
feeding
we
him
meant
information.
the whole almost being dragged to hell thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that part of it.
yeah. Well, you know,
I'm doing fine impersonating him, thank you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I kind of think. I don't know. I like the idea of appealing to his sense of fucked up honor. That's the way he thinks of it anyway. That I'm somebody he lost, and so is Leah. So play into that by Mr. White saying he's brought us back. I still think that's our best angle. I don't think we're gonna sneak into this place. Not with fucking 10 of us.
Could we not also just? I guess I forget. Maybe Leah, what terms did you leave on?
Running
it like
our
your ship-
through his?
Oh yeah, so you probably couldn't pull the whole like I was leaving to capture my brother for you, ha ha ha.
No, everything was a little. He gave me permission to go off on my own and to go look for you. It was my reward for having done good work. I suspect now, looking back, that he was following me, that he was hoping that I would find you so that he would find you. But no, there was no uncertainty in what I did during that fight. I rammed my ship through his ship. He knows that I would not do that by mistake.
Maybe you like sneezed at the helm. You know, sometimes it just happens.
No, that does not just happen.
What was the name of Leah's ship again?
The Black
Black
Zephyr.
Zephyr.
The Black Zephyr. That's such a cool name.
It's real cool.
All right. What's the plan? You guys flying down, sneaking down? Who's doing what?
How do you get down from this platform to this platform?
So typically, there are little lifts. There's these kind of rail car. What are they called? Skylift?
Oh, they're so cute.
Yeah.
What a
elevator.
terrifying death box.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
absolutely not getting in one of those, no matter what.
Those do go up and down. They appear to be automated. It's all mechanical. With that said, they're visible. They're they dangle off
And
the
there's
side, and everybody
checkpoints,
can
I'm
see them
assuming?
coming in. And there are checkpoints. You can see that guards are standing at the entries here, and you would have seen during your scouting that there are guards posted at the doors here as well. That would presumably see you as you come down through those.
Shouldn't some of us pose as like Mr. White's posse bodyguards? Wouldn't
That's
it be
kind
kind
of
of
what I
weird?
assumed most of you were. Was Mr.
Oh.
White was just bringing Anton, me, and Leah. The rest of you were guards of some sort or servants.
In my version, I was assuming that all of us were going to be captured because Anton knows all of us and is going to recognize us.
That's true, I guess. Yeah. I guess that don't work.
My disguise run out by now.
You guys have been here for 45 minutes, I'll say.
Okay, got 15 more minutes.
I realize now that you gave me the option to take like a special ability that would be perfect for this, and I didn't take it.
On the
it
note
makes
of
me
how
sad.
long you guys have been here, Vasu, I need another charisma saving throw.
Oh, does it?
You, with the help
Is
of
that a
the
fail?
with the help of the spells that have been placed on you.
Those were only 10-minute durations.
Oh, you're right.
Unless
Mine was 24 hours.
unless the non-detection helps. Or
Oh.
Yeah, mine
or,
was only
okay.
10 minutes.
For the time being, I'm going to say that it helped. I'll say that it gives them advantage. I'll look up an actual ruling between sessions, but for the time being, I'll go with that.
Sure.
With the advantage from that. You
Oh
succeed-
wait! I have a banner the banner we made for the prevents charm. I don't know if that helps.
Excellent. I will look into a thing real quick.
I don't know what the stats are going to be yet, but it's what we were crafting earlier.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, excellent. With the spells that have been cast on you and the protections that have been warded against, you are able to resist. And this time, having experienced it once before, you're able to resist it a little more easily. And you are also, with a 23, able to get a little bit more directionality and insight into it. You feel a strong pull coming from the center of this balloon, specifically from the other side of this yellow painted leather. It seems to emanate from the very center of this largest balloon, almost like it's pulling you in towards it. And it occurs to you that it has been about 1 hour since the last time that you felt it. Just like before, Moat and Nordo, you feel just like a light tingling, kind of like somebody watching over your shoulder, just a chill down your spine.
Okay. That's all the more reason we can't spend all night here. Whatever we're gonna do, we need to do it.
Yeah.
All right.
I guess we could maybe run down, see if we can take a look. Maybe, I don't know.
Let's just start with scouting, I guess. Just go down there. I think maybe not taking the lifts for now. Maybe get back on the invisible ship. Is that something we can do? Or is that going to be a whole thing?
So
I get invisibility on it once per short for an hour.
and it's gone. And even if we did, when we summoned it out, it would be visible, which would be noticeable.
Well, guess the lifts it is then. Do I see like wanted posters like we're in the Empire around here for us, like on this place?
Give me either perception or investigation.
I will do the same. You know, if we had my forklift, I could just carry all of us down.
If only.
You guys both do a little bit of scouting, taking a look around. You don't. But you also don't really see, like, anywhere that one would be, right? Like, there's not a wanted board, there's not job posting. It's a very kind of cut and dry industrial zone down here.
Okay.
It's not like there's a bunch of bystanders passing by that would need to see this. Almost all the things you see down here are, like, weird dystopian propaganda for the workers.
Well, unless the guards watching these lifts have been specifically told to look out for people matching our description, then I don't suspect they're gonna call us out on it. And if they do, we go back to plan, knock them the fuck out before they call for help.
Sounds good.
You said there were 3,900-ish people here, right?
Some of that ballpark. I think it was like 35-14.
I could definitely kill a few hundred people.
I'd like to avoid killing any more than we have to, because I think every first thing that happens here, if guards start getting killed, is slaves start getting punished.
Alright. You guys are making your way over to the lift?
Yeah.
Is there another? This so we can think of another way. How high? What's the height difference between this and this platform?
I would say each one of these levels is probably on the ballpark of 60 feet. That's a little bit longer, so that's probably about 80 feet. And then it's at an angle, so whatever that math ends up being, it's 80 feet down and probably about the same inward.
How fast is the ship going?
Currently stationary.
Oh no. Okay. Otherwise, I was going to say we could just jump off the front side and then we could like feather fall down and land down there.
I ain't jumping off this thing.
All right.
I can barely talk myself into getting one of these lifts.
Would it help if we blindfolded you?
It helps
I
if you look
don't
down
think
the
so.
entire time. I've heard.
I know
If you
for
just
sure
only
that's
look
not
down.
true.
Alright. You do see that the nearest lift has a couple of guards. And when I say guards, what I mean is air elemental myrmidon. You guys have encountered these before. It's kind of these formless, wispy air elementals that have taken humanoid shapes from the torso upwards. They have a couple of scimitars each, and these very ornate breastplates and helmet. They have a couple of shining lights where their eyes would be, and they're just at their post in front of this nearest lift. Do you guys just walk up to them into the lift?
Was that a question or a statement?
Yeah, I guess so.
You walk up. They both kind of stand at attention, and they look to whoever approaches first, whoever's in front, wordlessly.
Obviously,
Guess Flick
Flip.
again.
Probably have to
Yeah.
have like a pass or something that we don't have.
You have his body. Did you look
Oh,
for
yeah.
glass?
So we're going down,
Yes.
right? Okay. We're going down. Do they react to that at all?
Double checking how this works real quick. They both kind of take a step to the side and motion for you to get in.
Okay.
There is kind of a creaking and groaning of the wrought iron cage. It's like a bird cage almost as you step in, and then everybody else behind. They turn and watch as all of you enter, and then once the last one of you is in, one of them kind of reaches over and closes the wrought iron gate behind you, turns a latch and pulls a lever shut to lock it.
Drops at 5,000 feet.
What a nightmare. And then the other one begins to kind of turn a crank. After the full turn is done, there is a and then a slow rolling, like a roller coaster chain. And you guys feel the floor suddenly kick, and then you feel this rocking back and forth as the whole cage, like a balloon basket, just begins to lower down towards this platform.
Hate it.
Yeah.
Somebody just puts
Oh,
their
yeah,
hand
no, Nordo
in
passes
Nordo's
out.
shell. There, Nordo.
He just gets into his shell and lays on the floor.
It starts slow and wobbly, but it does kind of speed up to kind of like skiing lift speeds. And then it begins to decelerate as it reaches the bottom here. It kind of pulls back up in a loop when you reach the other station, and you can see that there are a pair of elementals there as well. One of them holds it to kind of stabilize it, and then the other one, once it is stable, opens the door and kind of pushes a wooden step platform up so that you guys can step down onto the wooden deck. And you can see that this dock goes in about maybe 20 or 30 feet to a central pillar where there are 3 doorways, each of which is being guarded by a pair of these air elementals.
On the way down, Nordo inside of his show is like, why did this motherfucker have to live in the fucking sky?
To be above the rest.
Does my true sight the entire time we've been going through this, walking past elementals, pick up anything?
Everything appears to be what you would expect. All of the elementals are actually elemental. Yeah, no illusions, nothing in the ethereal plane. Everything appears to be what it is so far.
How annoying is it to be walking behind Flick?
Pretty annoying, honestly.
You like no clips through a bunch of walls.
Oh yeah. I don't know if you fought Radon yet. Well, I won't spoil anything.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, I don't know if you're playing Elden Ring.
Yeah.
No, my graphics card can't handle it,
Gotcha.
unfortunately.
The short version, and this is not a spoiler in any way. There's a big goofy man on a tiny little horse, so all of his movements are like really erratic. Because like every time the horse moves, this whole giant man turns.
Oh
weird...
God!
Yeah, that's kind of what's going on with Flick and his dragon form right now. Is like his little 6 foot tall humanoid form gets into this cage, and like the big ghostly image of an enormous ancient dragon turns with him.
So he's a Bethesda. He's a character in a Bethesda game. He's
Yeah.
he's just clipping through everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so there's this wagon who is inside of a brass dragon that's inside of a ancient white dragon, and then also there's a little tiny Flick in there too.
I don't think I
know you wouldn't see Flick.
I don't think I would see the brass dragon. I think I would just see all the way through to your original form.
Would you? Okay.
I'm assuming so. It's true.
So
sight.
is the whole body is just clipping through everything?
So what it's worth, True Sight does not show you somebody's soul. So the very innermost layer
Okay.
that you can see is Mr. White's dragon form.
Yeah.
As you guys step off, you can see that coming out through one of these doorways, with kind of a laugh and a chuckle, are 2 figures. There is, first of all, a man that looks very familiar to you, Nordo, in kind of the black robes that look kind of comfortable, almost like velvety, very, very fancy gold trim, and a hood that is currently pulled back. You can see that there is a man, humanoid, although his skin is unnaturally pale with almost like a bluish tint to it. The smoky white hair looks like probably a Genasi that you recognize immediately as Anton. The face is burned into your memory. And he's got sort of a stern, serious face on him currently.
He's here.
And next to him, the one that is doing most of the talking, is a human man in a big old kind of bucket hat. These boots that go up to about his knees. Big old mustache that's kind of curled up at the end. Is a man that's just kind of laughing. He's got a heavy kind of western or country accent to him. Then he's telling some sort of a joke, and you don't hear the joke from this far away, but you hear him laughing at his own joke. You can see Anton kind of like gives a placative smile, just, going along with it. Not quite to the point of annoyance, but clearly not as entertained as this guy next to him is. And they both kind of step out into the daylight, and they stop for a moment. You can see that the man in the hat kind of reaches down to grab some tobacco, starts fishing around to get out of the tinderbox so he can flick some flint at it. And Anton just stands there and kind of crosses his arms. But he does look over at all of you as you start to step out of the cage, and get sort of a quizzical look on his face.
Okay. I'm dying right now. My child is upstairs crying.
Yeah.
So I need to...
For what it's worth, it is pretty late. We can
I don't know if we want to just wrap up right there.
This is
That's a
probably a
nice
good
cliffhanger.
Can I ask one question before we go?
Sure.
Do I see any of those true forms?
What is the range of your true
120 feet.
120 feet. Yeah, you sure would, wouldn't you?
cliffhanger with extra drama.
I will whisper it to just you, and we'll leave it.
Oh, I hate
yes.
it so much. All right.
That's what we'll pick up next week.
We're
He's
all
gonna
connected.
He's gonna just see them. Like, there's nothing there. Vex just fucking with us. Like,
That'd be
it's...
great.
We're all
They're just-
connected with Raries. You can just tell us.
Because Ace is probably just going to tell you anyway, but it's more fun like this.
It's way more fun for me to just know and then we reveal next time.
Oh, good. I have next Wednesday off, so I'll be here on time. Perfect.
Hell yeah.
Huzzah.
Yay.
Alright. I'll shoot you a message, Ace.
It's not gonna say anything. It's just gonna be blank.
That's what he wants you to think.
Oh,
No,
we
that's
just-
what I want to think, so that I can get through this week. At least we have Monday.